watch the 2021 version.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk about first, actually.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
so we're on. So this is a long time in coming, forever in the making. Cool with Orc and Jay. And this is one we've had in the works and we've teased for a while because a few times, there were so many times we were going to do it and it didn't work out. So yeah, we're going to do Mortal Kombat, the original from 1995. Paul W.S. Anderson. Is it W.S.? Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So a big movie that had a big impact, certainly on my childhood or whatever you want to call it. Having seen it in the theater, I was not like a huge fan of the game, but definitely, you know, I was the exact target age and audience for it. So like I knew the game, I'd played it maybe a little bit. I didn't own a Genesis. I don't even know if the Super Nintendo port was out in '95. Was it? It might have been. At least of the first one.
I think it was.
Yeah, I think the second, like when they were, I think 2 might have been out by the time the movie came out, but when they were making the movie, 2 was not out. So they actually had to, you know, take some elements from a game that hadn't even been released yet. Although they did leave out some things. That's why like Shao Kahn is only called like the Emperor. They don't even have a name for him yet. But anyway, it is satisfying to finally get to this one. But before we get to it, we all really like it. It's like, I did see the 2021 one. Because of COVID stuff, I didn't see it in the theater, but I did see it when it finally came around. And I have to say, I really did not like it. I felt really let down by it. So what do you guys think?
Well, I guess we'll get into it, but I'm not a big fan of this movie. So I like the newer one more. But.
Really? Okay.
95 is king. I really like the new one as well. Mortal Kombat is probably my favorite gaming franchise out of anything that's Activision Blizzard. So,
yeah. See, I was always Street Fighter over Mortal Kombat, but Mortal Kombat's a much better movie than Street Fighter. I knew that back then, and I know that now. But now I don't want to think I didn't like anything about the new one. Obviously, what they did well, they did really well, which is probably Scorpion Sub-Zero, right? Really great, you know, to focus on that story, to cast them well, to show that is the highlight. But I can't stand Cole, the main guy, and any of the thing. And what really bothered me was the locations. The locations felt so barren and without any sort of personality. I couldn't believe that, like, it's like, oh, here's your hidden temple. And it's just some crappy, ugly stone place. This is where you're gonna train or whatever. And I just couldn't stand, like, where the fight's like the fight with Goro in this is so epic. I can't stand the Goro fight in that. It's like, it's Goro attacking like a barn. Like, that really bothered me. It's like, you're going to fight Goro with a pickup truck? Like, that did not
It's really dark, too. Yeah.
I just could not stand that. I was like, they're going to send Goro after.
The thing that both movies have, though, is Kano is insanely good in both movies.
Yeah, let's hope this actor doesn't die, because, like, the actor that plays Kano in this movie died, and the actor that played Kano in the really cool, underrated, I don't know what you want to call it, series, Mortal Kombat, what was it, Legends or something? I don't know.
Legacy.
Yeah. He died too, so
yeah.
I don't think it's a cursed role exactly. But yeah, this Kano is pretty cool in the new one. But no, it was mostly the environments and characters and stuff. And the original 95 one gets some flack because it wasn't rated R, and yet it never bothered me, and it still doesn't bother me. I don't feel like they needed to like push it much more than they did. Like, I get it didn't really have super gory fatalities, but I guess it didn't really matter to me that much because the fights were just so intense and well done. But, I mean, I remember the stuff with Scorpion and Sub-Zero. The rest of the fights are very forgettable for me, you know. Like, I thought I'd be really happy to see Kung Lao, even though his only point in so many versions of the story is to get killed. It's like, Kung Lao has to die to motivate Liu Kang, you know.
Is he the guy with the hat that he cuts people open with the hat?
He's the guy with the hat. He's Liu Kang's cousin, and he's a direct descendant of the last Earthrealm champion.
I love how there's a big Chinese versus Japanese rivalry between Sub-Zero and Scorpion. I think that's pretty cool. I love how ruthless Sub-Zero is in the new movie. He's insane.
Yeah, they are easily the best part, is both those characters, and they do them really well. I'm just saying, I don't like Cole as a main character, and I just felt really let down by the environments. I hated the training place. I hated that we don't go to Outworld. And I really hated the Goro thing. That really bothered me. I was like, what a shitty way to use Goro. Like, I don't know. They built Goro up so much in this movie. It feels so epic and cool. And I know, obviously, we're going to do it. This movie has really dated effects and really cheesy. But Mortal Kombat is cheesy. The game is cheesy. it's like weird, hyped up Shakespeare, but with like crazy ninja stuff, you know? So it's not supposed to be taken that seriously. And I think that the movie captured that spirit perfectly. It's like, yeah, you know, it's silly, it's weird, but we're going to get really intense about it. And that's why a terrible, terrible, terrible actor like, what's his name? The Belgian guy can actually fit into the movie and not ruin it. Oh, you know what I mean. Mr. C-list.
Johnny Cage? The guy that plays Johnny Cage?
No, he's okay. Christopher Lambert. Christopher Lambert has got to be like one of the worst actors of his generation. He's just a green light for crap. I don't care if it makes Rambo laugh or people cry. Like, he's a bad actor with a terrible filmography. And you would think casting Ms. Ryden is bullshit. Are you kidding? But he fits into the weird cheesiness of the movie, so I don't care. Like, I don't care that it's a weird wisecracking.
He's a white dude, though.
There's a white dude. Like, I don't even care. He's a white dude.
That's the problem. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, like, I actually think he fits in well. Like, there's only like 3 movies where I'm okay with him. It's like, you know, like the first, even though it's stupid, like the first Highlander, and then this movie, and then, I don't know, maybe something else like Fortress or something like that. The rest of the time, like, oh god. But like his weird cheesiness, that's Lyndon Ashby, by the way, was Johnny Cage. No, he's great casting there. That's kind of what's cool too. It's like they didn't just go with. I mean, they probably didn't have their pick of A-list stars, honestly, which probably helped, because Paul W.S. Anderson was a totally unknown director at the time. He'd only done like some sort of like a little indie movie when he got picked for this, and yet I don't have knowledge about how he approached or how he did it. But I know I'm a broken record, but I will say I think this movie, besides that, like the stuff I just said about how like well cast it is and how they sort of capture the cheesiness and lean into it. But I mean, as far as the action and stuff goes, I think it's good for the same reason that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie is good, which is they basically shot it like a Hong Kong action movie. Now, in the case of Ninja Turtles, it pretty much was one. It was produced by Golden Harvest. The guys in the turtle suits were all Hong Kong stuntmen. The choreography was by Hong Kong action guys. And this movie has a little Hong Kong background in it too. Of course, Liu Kang was Robin Shou, which was a nice casting because, again, he wouldn't have really been known. It's not like too many Asian actors would have been known back then. Mm-hmm. But even though he was young, he had already done a few solid movies in the Hong Kong scene, including playing the main villain in the second Tiger Cage movie up against my boy Donnie Yen. So that's pretty cool. One of the stuntmen, which guys did I have this? Oh, Keith Cook. Keith Cook, who played Reptile. I mean, he'd been in the 2 China O'Brien movies, which are Cynthia Rothrock movies from the early 90s from Hong Kong. So and I think something else. So, you know, they had some people that had some experience in things. By the way, Cynthia Rothrock was the real life inspiration for the character Sonya Blade, much like Jean-Claude Van Damme was the real life inspiration for Johnny Cage.
All right.
So, you know, they had a little bit of that flavor. It's funny because the biggest star didn't wind up getting in the movie, and that's Cameron Diaz. Cameron Diaz was not exactly a star then, but she turned a lot of heads in The Mask. She was going to be Sonya Blade, and she got injured. And so they got Brigitte. Is it Brigitte? Do you say Brigitte or Bridget? I don't know. Wilson or whatever her name is. You know what I mean? Is it Wilson, Nielsen?
I think it's Brigitte. This is what I've said before.
Right, Brigitte Wilson. Right. So anyway, so they wind up casting her kind of late, which is why like she doesn't fight much. It's not because they were trying to minimize the character. It's because she had very little training, which is why she has probably the most underwhelming of the fights in the movie. Like, I like that fight with Kano, but, you know, it's pretty short. Not too much happens because she didn't really have much time to train. Not to mention, because she had gone up for the role, lost it to Cameron Diaz, she went on and did Billy Madison. So she was on the set of Billy Madison and had to be flown back way out to Thailand or whatever to do her scenes.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
That's cool, yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, pretty cool. But yeah, I really think, I mean, and that's what, and we'll get into it when we actually watch the movie, is like the intensity of the fight scenes are so good. And they really do shoot it like old school Hong Kong style because there's so much real contact there. And so many of the actors took injuries during it and they didn't want to say anything. So they just fought through injuries because they didn't want production to get shut down, particularly, of course, Liu Kang being the star. So when he had bruised ribs, like he didn't tell anybody except Cook because he still had the reptile fight coming up. And he's like, just don't kick me on this side of my ribs, you know? But I mean, they'd all gone through various things, and you got to give credit to Bridget Wilson, because she wasn't somebody with a martial arts background. She actually dislocated her shoulder at one point, and when they put it back in, she just went right back to it. So that's some good toughness right there.
Have you ever had that happen to you? You ever had a joint come out?
No, I've never had anything happen to. I've had a litany of injuries in my life. I've never had anything really with my shoulder. I've never had anything with my arm. I broke my wrist once when I was sledding. That's about it. But I've never had a joint come out.
They say it hurts.
I'm sure it does.
I see Mel Gibson slap it up against a wall. And I'm like, yeah, it looks like it hurts.
Yeah. Because, like, it's kind of silly. I mean, I never liked the guy that much, but that's how fighter TJ Dillashaw, that's how he gets to go out. Like, he should never have been in that fight. His shoulder had been out, you know? And then he can't defend himself, and he gets this shit kicked out of him. And then it's like, well, I guess I'll retire. What a crappy way to retire. I mean, like him or hate him, TJ Dillashaw had a good career. He was champion a long time, blah, blah, blah. So what a shitty way to end your career. Is like, why did you take that fight if you were so, like, within like 30 seconds, the shoulder's out. He can't defend himself. He just gets beaten on. It's amazing he survived the first round. They tried to pop it back in. Didn't really work. Early in the second round, he gets finished.
Well, the thing is, when that starts happening, I think you become more prone to it. So, like, you can just throw a punch and your arm goes out of socket, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, a good idea to retire, but I guess, you know, he still made his money from it. It's interesting about Lyndon Ashby because, you know, he was an actor who just happened to have a martial arts background. He wasn't a martial artist. Like, he wasn't known for that. He'd never done it before in, like, movies or TV. It just happened, like, here was an opportunity to actually use it. And he's really good. I got to give him credit. He's really good. But especially when you have, like, real professionals like Robin Shue, who, of course, is the main hero. So we get to see him the most. But, yeah, so I just really love it for that sort of guerrilla, that really Hong Kong spirit sort of was just fight through the injuries and have really frenetic fight scenes and, you know, lots of real contact. Like, I think that's really what makes it work and why I don't really mind that maybe it doesn't have like the ultra violence that I guess people would come to expect. It's still pretty violent for a PG-13 movie, I guess.
Yeah, I guess considering the game, you know, that's what it was. The blood, right, was what really made that game popular.
Yeah, blood and actually, you know, fights to the death. You know, it's not, you don't knock out your opponent, you kill your opponent. You know, which makes it a very hard story to like keep telling. Because it's like everybody's dead. They have to keep bringing characters back to life, which kind of cheapens the whole thing. But what can you do? But I don't know what the plan was for this because they did get a sequel out of it, and it's awful. And a lot of those actors couldn't come back, or they were recast and things. But anyway, we'll get into more stuff as we actually get to the movie. So, Jay, have you managed to?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we'll do a 3, 2, 1 and count down. The way it works for me is it just jumps right into like the guy going Mortal Kombat, and we go in. And of course, this being right in the midst of the 90s. It has like all sorts of awesome 90s techno and cliches abounding.
Oh, yeah.
So mine's probably still too loud. So we'll do a 3, 2, 1, hit it.
I'm still buffering, but no, it should be there in a second.
Yeah. So you get that really memorable theme song, the New Line Cinema. You want me to? Because I've got New Line Cinema.
I'm good. 99%.
There's also a movie I've seen a million times because back in the 90s when we had the pay channel, what Crave used to be was called TMN, or the Movie Network. And
hang on 1 second. I'm paused. Jay, did you get yours to work?
No.
Okay.
Back to 33.
Okay, I stopped. I stopped at the
streaming combat.
Problems out of the gate. That's always good.
Yeah. So I taped it off off TV. I missed the few opening minutes. It starts basically with it has what was it? So I've seen it a million times. With maybe the first 3 or 4 minutes missing, because where I had it started was where Jax and Sonya are making their way into the club. That's where it started for me. And I had that on tape, and I watched that many, many, many times.
Okay, I've got the New Line logo.
Okay, let it go.
Get back to it.
Okay, I'll just back up then. It's probably easier for me to move around than you, so I'll go back.
Sorry, guys. It's
no
never an exact science doing this.
Okay, go.
You good, Orc?
Yeah, they just went Mortal Kombat. Yeah. I'm a little bit behind. I'm okay.
Okay, so there's New Line Cinema, Time Warner Company.
Okay.
And now the logo is going to come flying in at us. Very intense. I mean, I get it. I was the exact target age. You know, I was in my early teens.
I remember the first time I watched this, 1995. After when it hit pay-per-view, and my dad's friend had a hacked cable box, and I watched it like late. It was on like an all-day ticket, pay-per-view all-day ticket. Remember those?
Yes.
And I watched it then. Hacked cable box. Fuck yeah.
So there, and I mean, here of all the actors that really sell it, it's gotta be Carrie here. So that's a Japanese actor. Let's get a logger. Kerry Hiroyuki Tagawa. And oh my God, he's so into it. Like, again, like he totally understands it. Like, he's like, you fool, and all this stuff. You better die. Like, it's so good. Like, he gets what this is. So he just goes for it. So I won't wait till she shows up because it takes too long. But actually, Kerry Hiroyuki Tagawa there, and also the actress that played Katana. I remember her first name, but it's Soto, something Soto. They were actually in a movie together before this, and they were in a James Bond movie. They were in License to Kill in 1989, which I watched recently and did on my channel, but then I got rid of it because it was all shitty. And I think that was the first time I realized that they were both in that movie together. He plays like I think he plays like a Chinese agent, actually. And she's the main bad guy's sort of like captive girlfriend that Bond like seduces in License to Kill. So that's kind of cool.
Your soul is mine.
Green before it would become really cool in the next few years with the Matrix. Matrix is like, make everything green. But yeah, I feel bad for Robin Chu. It's like he's just the wrong age. Like he was in his early 20s. He came in just at the end of the Hong Kong action scene. Not that they weren't still making movies, but obviously he had American roots, so he tried to do American movies. And this movie was a hit. This was a financial success and stuff. But I don't know. I just feel like the timing didn't work out for him because he's such a talented guy. And I think he has some charisma to him. I love these 90s clubs. Everybody's just moshing. Oh, seems like more technical difficulties for Jay. That's not good. But I was never in a club like this in the 90s because I was too young. And there's our boy, Kano.
Yeah, I'm having problems. I'll get back to you guys.
Another guy that really leans into the role. What's funny is, like, I don't think Kano had a nationality in the games before this. This is, like, what established him as Australian. And he wasn't even trying to sound Australian. Like, he was trying to do like a Cockney accent that went sideways on him. And so it just sounded Australian. And then it's just like, it's canon. He's an Australian character. Because I'm pretty sure, in the game, they did not actually mention that he was Australian until later, until after this movie established it. So this is somewhat following the plot of the game, because I think this is how it worked in the game, right? Like, this is how Sonya wound up in the tournament. She was chasing the criminal Kano. I think that is true. Of course, there's Jax with her, but he does not get to continue on. And I don't think it's the same actor for Annihilation.
No, I don't think it is either.
BFG. Unfortunately, that's like the only shattered glass we get in this movie. Shattered glass is such a big part of a martial arts movie, but this is a bit different. They're not going to be fighting in office towers or mansions. She's really good at scowling, which I think makes her a good Sonya. I think that's a big part of Sonya's character. It's looking ultra serious and pissed off. I'm sorry you guys are having your technical issues, but I'm at the Johnny Cage introduction scene where he's in the movie.
Luckily for me, I've seen this movie probably 50 times, so I have every part memorized.
Now, we're at Let's Dance.
It says, yeah,
that's the music. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to get off of here and try something else, Hort. Maybe it'll help out your...
I'll give you a timestamp when I can.
Yeah.
Right now, we're on the movie set. And originally, for the director, they were somehow going to get Spielberg, and then he couldn't do it. Like, Spielberg did say yes, which is weird, because this is, it seems kind of beneath Spielberg. He did say yes, but then in the end, he couldn't make it, so they just used somebody else as the director. But that's kind of funny, too, that they could have gotten somebody that big for, this is where you fall down. Nice tribute to stuntmen.
You've been replaced. The new Spielberg is Paul W.S. Anderson.
Exactly. It's a passing of the torch. But as you can see, this guy, he's kind of made, he's made to look a lot like Spielberg with the glasses and the hat and the vest. It's like, I'll be back directing Traffic. I'm like, what? Were you a traffic cop? That's kind of an odd joke to make, but okay.
Okay. Can I have a timestamp, please?
All right. So I've got it at coming up on 6:40. 6 minutes 40.
Okay.
6:45, etc. Johnny Cage. Mr. Boyd. I guess that's his sensei or something.
All right, there's Shang Tsung.
Yeah, he's going to turn in. Well, yeah, it is him. Yeah, in disguise, pretending to be the Shang Tsung.
So we're right about on the same place then.
He's telling him about the tournament.
Okay, I'll pause for a little bit longer. I don't want to disrupt.
For me, I'm just past 7.5 minutes.
7.5. Okay, I'm at 8. So I'll wait just a second.
Yeah, he hasn't. He's still talking to him. Yeah, he has not revealed himself. Well, he doesn't reveal himself to us, but to the audience. I always think that's interesting. Oh, there he goes. He's about to change. I always think like when they do that to help the audience, they still do it too early. Like I wouldn't shapeshift that early. It's just for the sake of us. So Temple of Light, China, but this is obviously Thailand. But where most of the stuff was shot. That's okay. Thailand has lots of cool old temples.
All right. I'm not going to rock the boat. It seems to be working okay for right now. Is yours any better, Ort?
No, buffering.
Oh, man.
Fuck. I was hoping if I got off of there, it would help you. I rented it for $1.50 on Amazon. So I was like, that's not too big of an expense.
You're cracking me up.
At least it works.
Earlier in this commentary, I fucking hate this movie. Later, I rented it for $1.50.
It was on sale.
Yeah. I also have to give Christopher Lambert credit for the characterization here, because obviously he didn't know or care about the game. It just went in his own direction, and they were like, fine. Because Paul W.S. Anderson, maybe because he was aware he was a newish director, he basically encouraged the actors to ad-lib lots of lines and stuff and just sort of take their own. Like, he did not really tell them much about what he wanted from them as far as the character goes. He kind of let them be pretty free with it. And that's where we get some of the funnier lines in the movie, which is I'm fine with. Because, I mean, I have to say, like, Lyndon Ashby, whether he knew much about Johnny Cage or not, like I guess, I mean, again, Johnny Cage is not that deep of a character. All they really had to say is, this guy's like an arrogant movie star. Like, okay, I can work with that, you know? So he does. Lower graded. Liu Kang's there yelling about their stupid religion. The fate of the world, you stupid thunder god. You guys are all idiots. You stupid monks. You believe in a bunch of bullshit.
Where'd this honky come from?
I don't know, but you better bow to him.
So you say Raiden?
I say Raiden.
I've always said Raiden.
I always say Raiden.
I don't know what's correct, but
it's funny here in like Raid. They in the captions I have here, they misspell his name. They spell it with a Y.
Yeah, it was here too.
They really put a lot of thought into these captions. I never really thought about Raiden until the Metal Gear Solid 2 character was called Raiden with the same spelling, so I don't know.
How do you pronounce Ken's adversary in Street Fighter?
Akuma?
No, the main guy. Looks just like Ken.
Oh, Ryu, yeah. When I was a kid, I called him Ryu when I was a kid, but it is Ryu.
Yeah,
I call him Ryu
as well.
Yeah, Ryu is technically wrong.
We didn't know
when I was a kid, yeah. But yeah, it's Ryu. It'd be nice if they ever did a live action movie that could do that justice, but I don't know. Because I mean, the only way I can enjoy that movie is just like laughing at how bad it is. Like,
can I get a timestamp?
Sure, I am at coming up to 11:40.
Kind of play a good table dance.
Yeah.
Raiden just caught him in a really clumsy throw. It's like, Liu Kang, what the hell happened to all your awesome martial arts abilities?
You know, the Chun-Li movie wasn't half bad. It had
he's in it. Or no.
Oh, he's in it?
Or no, wait, I need to look that up. I might be right or wrong. Wait a second. Robin Shu. Terrible. Robin Shu is in something Street Fighter. He's in Robin Shu plays Gen in Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li, which I've never watched. So he's Gen. Who's that? I haven't seen the movie, but Gen's that really old guy with the long white beard.
It's Lana Lang from Smallville. Can't think of her name right off.
Is that Kristen Kirk?
Yeah, I believe so.
Canadian actress. Yeah, very pretty.
Cult member as well.
No, she was an almost cult member. They didn't get her.
They didn't get her.
They tried. Obviously, she was one of the first ones they tried because it was it was her co-star on the show.
All right, well, we got to brand your vagina. Like, whoa, I'm out.
She was out before any of that, luckily. But yeah, it's too bad because that was a show I watched at least the first few years, and I did like that actress and that character.
I did too.
Whatever the.
I was a big fan of that show. I don't care what people say. I liked it.
I liked it too. I mean, just like a lot of shows, just went off the rails at a certain point. But yeah, I mean, no, I liked it.
Sure.
What's funny is back then I had this big crush on Tom Welling, and then years later I was like, what was I thinking? I'm not. But at the time, I thought he was so attractive and handsome, and I thought he was so cool and everything. That's one of the reasons I watched the show. But then, a few years later, it just wore off completely. I was like, no.
He kind of retired, huh? I haven't seen him in anything in a long time.
Yeah. He was in, the Fog remake. And
well, yeah. I mean, that's about it. I mean, the Fog remake and, is it Even Steven? No.
Wow, this Jax has hair. I don't even think I remembered that. I've seen the movie 20,000 times.
Cheaper by the Dozen. He was in that one.
Oh, that was a Hilary Duff. Yeah, yeah.
Well, Steve Martin. I don't remember who else.
Yeah, Hilary Duff was one of them.
The older daughter, probably.
That's why I watched it at the time because I had a crush on her.
Fuck you, Dad. I'm gonna go fuck my boyfriend.
Trying to go on a slow boat to China.
A handful of homies on a leaky boat are gonna save the world.
Exactly.
I'll tell you guys, that makeup's pretty shitty right there.
On who?
On Kano.
The effects are all very shitty. I can defend this movie, and I love the movie. The effects are not.
Because I always got Terminator vibes from Kano, right? I'm like, oh, Kano is like a fucking, robot.
He does have a laser eye, but they don't use it in this. They make a huge deal out of it in the new one. He's like, I got laser eyes. Oh, yeah.
He's crikey. I got laser eyes, I do.
Yeah, he's just losing it over it. He's like, way better than fireball hands. Is it? Okay.
She's a beauty.
I like that Johnny had like a bunch of suitcases thrown in the ocean, and he still has like 6 more. You are? Where's Kano? That's an interesting name.
That was Sonya, right?
Yeah.
Scorpion and Sub-Zero, deadliest of enemies.
Are they on for you? They're not here just yet for me.
Soon.
Because, I mean, yeah, at least that's one thing they do. Like, I mean, I love how they do it in the new one, but in this, they do make sense. It's like they are the deadliest enemies, but, you know, I'm making them my slaves and they do what I want, so they can't fight each other. But, yeah, so I accept it. So this is the original Sub-Zero, Bi-Han.
Oh. Like it's a position? Like you get upgraded to Sub-Zero, then you retire?
No, just there was 2. Bi-Han was in the original tournament and gets killed. And then the one after that was his brother, who's more sympathetic. Bi-Han was pretty evil. His brother was more of a good guy. But he became Sub-Zero after Bi-Han died. It was basically Scorpion managed to get his revenge and kill Bi-Han. And then his brother was like, I'll take revenge on Scorpion. And then when they finally talked it out, he's like, oh, yeah, my brother was kind of an asshole, and you're kind of justified in killing him. And they actually, in the continuity of these movies, because as much as I hate to acknowledge it, because it's so fucking terrible, one of the worst things I've ever seen in theater, Annihilation does make that distinction. They meet the new Sub-Zero. It's like, I killed you. It's like, you killed my brother, yo.
Get over here.
I think it's interesting that 3 different actors play Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Reptile. Because you don't need that.
In the game, it's all the same template, right?
Yeah, all it is a palette swap. I mean, they give them different moves and stuff to make them. But I just mean for a movie, you know, you could even use 1 or 2 or even just 1 actor for them all. But I like that they use 3 actors, maybe to give them distinct fighting styles, kind of. So that's
Where
cool.
was Reptile in the first game?
He was a hidden character. You had to do special stuff to make him appear. In fact, he was added into the movie late because test audiences wanted him, and because they thought there should be another fight. Because there were some other fights that didn't get into the movie that are too bad. Because, like I said, they had to cut down Sonya's role because she'd come in late and didn't have much training. She was going to fight Jade. And, of course, Jade's not even in the movie. But they were going to have a fight scene with her and Jade, which would have been really cool.
Yeah.
Jade. That's one. I mean, Mortal Kombat's full of stripperific females, but Jade, I think she's the one that has the most sex appeal for me. I love Jade.
Yeah, there's a few.
I love how in, like, one of the Mortal Kombat, either 9, which is like the weird remake of 1, 2, and 3, which I really like, or 10, there's a part like where you can get characters, you know, they'll say different things to each other. Like there's a part where like if you have Melina fighting Johnny Cage, she'll say something like, I'm gonna kill you, you know, she'll say something like some threatening thing, and Johnny Cage is like, bring it on, Butterface. I love it. Because that's what she was. Melina's very hot as long as you don't look at this situation.
Yeah, don't take the bottom part off.
Yeah. Which they have in the new movie, I know. Which is pretty cool to see Melina. I'll give it that. But again, she's kind of wasted. So here's Raiden lecturing them. Interesting lighting here. I wish when he said this is Mortal Kombat, like, I wish he said, he just says, you know, you've been selected to fight for the Earth in a tournament called Mortal Kombat. Then he should have paused and gone, with a K.
Yeah.
You know, it's very important that the combat is spelled with a K. That's like the whole crux of this thing.
It's extreme.
Why does Force invade us? Because there's really bizarre set of rules.
When I grew up in mainland China, in Sweden,
I was known as the White Devil. There's the handful of leaky people on the leaky boat line. That's where I'm at. So I am time stamped at just coming up on 20 minutes.
Yep, me too.
And I mean, Paul W.S. Anderson, this was sort of defined his career because he would like do all the Resident Evil movies, which are not good.
So this was 95, right?
Yeah.
So Event Horizon was soon after this.
Which is a movie I really want to watch again. I was talking the other day to Dan about it, actually, and I was like, shit, I haven't seen that movie in a long time. I'd like to watch it. And of course, it's nowhere. I can't stream it anymore. Yeah. Fucking sucks. But here's something I hadn't thought of, because I forget that Paul W.S. Anderson directed the Resident Evils. Because I've often pointed out, if you watch the Resident Evil or you talk about Milla Jovovich, is that I was saying Robin Shou didn't have as many roles. But one of the things Robin Shou did was he did train people. And Robin Shou was Milla Jovovich's personal martial arts trainer for the fighting she does in the Resident Evil movies. I wonder if she met him because Paul W.S. Anderson introduced them.
Probably.
I mean, what did Robin Shou get to follow this up with? I mean, he got to star in A Horrible Bomb, the sequel to this, and then it's like, you can be in Beverly Hills Ninja with Chris Farley.
Oh, wow. He's not the guy that played Bruce Lee in Dragon, is he?
No, that was, what's his name? He has is that just Jason Lee Scott or Jason Scott Lee or something?
I think that's it,
yeah.
He was in Jungle Book or something.
Yeah. He
was in a bunch of movies around that time.
What sucks is whoever they got to play him in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was excellent, but, since Tarantino has this weird kind of hate for him, he decided, I'll write him as a stupid hothead who gets thrown around by a 40-something-year-old stuntman. Ha, 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 ha. That really pisses me off. I don't like the movie anyway, but that really bothers me. I get it. It's fiction. It's made up. But it is based on people. It's just he's a dumbass that goes around picking fights with people. I mean, it's true. Bruce Lee did get in some street fights, but it's not because he was like that. And he never said he could beat the shit out of Muhammad Ali either, at least not publicly.
Oh, I think he absolutely could have.
I think he could have too. I mean, if it's just not a boxing match and you're fighting, he could have broken his leg.
No, fuck that. You're using feet, son.
Exactly. You fight a boxer, give them some leg kicks.
Yeah, Jake Paul, take some notes.
Yeah, game over.
No, I'm a boxer, so we can only use hands, okay? That's what my mom says.
Fucking Jake Paul is already ruining everything. I mean, who are these? I mean, I knew he was going to kill Askren because I've got better stand-up than fucking Ben Askren. Ben Askren's just a funky wrestler who is past his prime.
Exactly. He's a wrestler. This makes me
Well, I mean, Jake Paul's I'll pick a past his prime wrestler. Then I'll pick a much smaller past his prime former champ who's been getting his...
And he's fighting again later this month, too.
Is he finally fighting the boxer, though? Isn't this the one where he's finally fighting a real boxer? He's 4-0 against no boxers. Isn't this the actual boxer?
I'll let you know who he's fighting in a second.
Isn't it Tommy Fury? I thought he was fighting Tommy Fury.
Yeah, I think so.
So I don't know if Tommy Fury is very good, but he's at least a professional boxer. I don't know.
I want to see him fight Canelo, man, or some shit like that.
That'd be hilarious.
Fight a boxer, for Christ's sake.
That's what I mean.
You like to box?
He calls himself a boxer, and then he's like, I've got a perfect record fighting non-boxers who are all way older than me and smaller than me.
On the platform that I invented for myself.
I mean, and you can say what you want about the effects. I love this island. It feels great. The effects aren't good or anything, but this is what was really lacking for me in the new one. I was expecting something like this and got nothing like it. Just shit locations. I love this crazy island with all its weird imagery and its geography. It's got mountains and jungles and beaches and all these crazy statues and temples. There's the reptile statue. That's where I'm at. They're looking at the reptile statue. And there's Katana.
Oh yeah.
Who was not in very much, but she was in License to Kill, so that's pretty cool. Her name is Talisa Soto.
I'm a fan.
Yeah.
There was going to be a romantic subplot between her and Liu Kang that they just dropped, which I think is probably for the better. They don't need to muddy things up with that.
Yeah.
They also have the worst fight in the movie. That's the point, right? They just keep grabbing each other.
It's the thing in Mortal Kombat 11.
All right. That was real rough right there, guys. I don't know if you are at the same place I'm at, but
are you at Reptile's transformation?
This thing turned into the fucking Smacks Frog for a second.
1995, baby.
Yeah, that's rough time for CGI, and Paul W.S. Anderson was the king of using bad CGI back then.
Yeah. And he'd never done effects for anything before this movie. Like, again, he had like one small like indie movie under his belt, and now he gets this not exactly big budget, but kind of a big deal. It's a very popular video game franchise that's gaining a lot of traction. You know, I mean, this movie was a success. It didn't break 100 million, but it made a lot of money and had a very good opening weekend.
Oh yeah, did very well.
That's why I feel like it's a success on pretty much all levels. That's why I can't tell you how shattered I was by just how bad Annihilation is. Like, I can't even like the cheesy stuff about Annihilation. It all feels horrible. So they're at their little. What's funny is, like, this is their one chance to eat, as far as I know, and they don't really get to. It's like, how are you guys?
It's like a plate of lobster tails there in front of the dude.
Just very sumptuous. It's like, this is your one chance to eat before the tournament, so you better eat. Oh, we're just going to smash it all up. It's like, what the hell are the characters subsisting on after this? Did they bring, like, energy bars with them? I hope.
Uh-huh. Dave Chappelle.
Because that's the other thing I love about how it's kind of funny. Like, how loose is the tournament? They say it's a tournament. They say there's all sorts of rules and stuff. Because it's just like, oh, you know, they can't invade Orpheum until they win 10 tournaments in a row. Okay, here's the tournament. How does tournament work? And they have all these rules. It's like, you have to accept the challenge. People can't just challenge you and you not accept it. Although all over the place, people don't seem to challenge. They just attack them and they fight. And as far as like format goes, what is the format? Like, is there like what kind of advancement do we have here? Because you'll see everything under the sun. At one point, it's like, okay, Liu Kang's going to fight Catman. Well, I have no idea where they got that. We'll get to that when we get to that. It's like, okay. It's like Shang Tsung is there. There's an audience there. He's going to tell them when to begin. But wait, they begin with sticks. Why do they have sticks? I thought this was hand on hand. And then they get rid of their sticks. And then they fight. And then it's just like, later on, it's like, apparently official fights can happen anywhere. Somebody can just jump you out in the woods. And that's a part of the tournament, you know? So it's just so loose how this goes. I love this guy's sound. He goes, yeah. He sounds like he can't keep it. He sounds like his tongue is too big for his mouth, and he can't keep it. He's like, bleh. I also like how they're just trying to set us up. You think you're a badass? This is what you're facing.
Yeah.
Somebody can just freeze you and kill you, and that's the end. Have fun in your martial arts tournament.
Yeah. Good luck.
Because that's their demonstration.
I've got a big grappling hook got through people's bodies.
Yeah. It is interesting what they do with that in the movie, right? They turn into like this weird living creature, which is kind of cool, I guess.
It's pretty cool, yeah. I mean, it looks terrible, but
yeah, it's not a bad thing though. And that is, of course, what's his name? Ed Boon doing Scorpion's voice. So it's kind of cool because he gets a few added lines because in the game, all you ever heard Ed Boon say was "Get over here" and "Come here." But in this, they add him saying "Welcome," and at least one. Oh, and he also says "Get down here." That's my favorite. Get on my dude. We're jumping ahead, but that's my favorite fight in the movie. The Scorpion.
You like someone scream.
I fucking love that movie.
Can we have seconds?
Appetizers.
Well, Big T, you don't have to worm your way into the UFC. I mean, fuck. Look at that dumbass wrestler, CM Punk. It's like, hey, you're somebody. You have no actual combat experience, but you can just jump right into the UFC because people know your name. And he has
you'll
2 fights in 2 years.
pay-per-view buys.
Yeah, so
just dye your hair a bunch of stupid colors and talk shit about everybody.
So, I mean, Jake Paul or Logan Paul or whoever, they could easily get in the UFC. I mean, Dana White can say all he wants, like he doesn't like them or doesn't respect them, but I just mean they could make him money, and that's all he cares about. We're not getting to the UFC.
He's offered them because I hate White. Them money before.
Yeah, I hate White. I hate the UFC. I hate that we're at a point where White can just smack his wife around on video in front of people, and there's no consequences because people are, that's on brand because the UFC is just a bunch of dumbass thugs and criminals. Like the sport will never move forward. Like I thought in like 20-some years it might move forward. It's not going to. Its fan base is. I'm part of the fan base, but most of its fan base.
Triangle choke on New Year's Eve.
Bunch of like illiterate, drunken bastards.
You thought you were gonna pass out on champagne, bitch? I'm gonna put you to sleep.
One of their recent cards in Brazil, like the crowd started like throwing garbage at everybody. Like, yep, that's about UFC level. This is a great scene. I love his loud eating. This is part of being a sloppy bad guy. You go, he freezes this guy. Oi. Just like Daddy taught me. He's right, though. It wasn't very fair. Because, I mean, the thing that makes it, like, so easy about something like CM Punk is, like, he talked about, like, his passion and stuff for, like, you know, really getting in there. And that's fine, but you don't start the UFC then. If you're really serious, start at, like, some regional level. And if you're good, you can work your way up to a big thing. And he's just like, no, I'll just start at, like, the highest level.
Yeah.
Like, sure.
I feel like CM Punk went to one of these things with, like, a bunch of kids, and, like, he got upgraded to black belt eventually because he paid enough money.
Yeah. Because, I mean, he fights. His first fight, he misses with his punch, is immediately taken down and subbed. And then his second fight, they get him a semi-professional, a guy, Mike Jackson, who's basically a journalist who dabbles in MMA, and he just beats the snot out of him like it's nothing. He's playing around. And then he retires. I was like, see, if you really liked it, you would be like, okay, I got to work on my game, go down to the regional circuit. You know, no, money. You know,
well, he was expecting to win out of the gate, right? Like win. You know, that's all I do. I'm seeing Punk.
I would say for all the crappy old 90s effects, Goro looks surprisingly pretty good for the era. I mean, yeah, he's like a big dumb puppet, but I mean, I accepted big dumb puppets in Star Wars, so I can accept one here. What's funny is, like, also reading, like, because his effects were so difficult, like, they lessened his role in the movie. But I think that's good. Like, you don't want to overuse them. I love it. I think they use them just right. I love how they do it.
Backbone.
Oh, yes, Backbone.
He just dumped that Aju all over Kano.
Kano's not used to being disrespected, but when a fucking giant with 4 arms does it, I guess you gotta hold your tongue. Plus, he's a prince. He's royalty. It's Trevor Goddard, or Goddard, I guess you might say. Trevor Goddard, by the way, who passed away in 2003. He played Kano. No wrestling talk, Ben. I'll talk about real fighting, but not wrestling. Wrestling was the bane of my existence when I was like a kid because I had friends. I had friends that followed it religiously, and I had to hear about it every fucking day.
I know some people that love them some CM Punk, man. Can't stand any of that shit.
Look, I have no idea what he was like as a wrestler, if he was a fun character or what, and I don't give a shit. Because it doesn't really have anything to do with what he did as an actual fighter.
He doesn't smell when I'm cooking, if you know what I'm saying.
Because, I mean, since I've never really... I don't know what makes a good wrestler. I have no idea. I guess just a cool personality that the fans like. That's really... Yeah. It doesn't really have anything to do with what you can do physically. Because, I mean, I'm not going to say they can't do cool physical things. They do. And some of these wrestlers do crazy shit, you know, like the hardcore stuff and stuff that, like, Mankind would do. Like, I respect it to a certain degree. But it's still performance art, you know. It's performance art. And there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, like, I'll never understand why certain wrestlers were, like, loved by fans and other ones, like, were hated. No idea. Because, like, I don't know. In most sports, if you win enough, people will like you even if you're an asshole. You know, there will be people that are like, he's an asshole, I don't like him. But most people will be like, hey, you know, he scores points for my team or whatever, so I don't give a fuck, you know. And I get it. She's 10,000 years old, dude. You don't got a shot. That's probably the best part about Liu Kang is like how against all this is, and he's like making fun of his grandfather and all the monks. But once he's here and he meets Raiden, he just is 100% into it now. Just complete heel face turn. And I mean, I get it. Like they've seen impossible things, so they have to buy some of it. But now he's just like, it all makes sense. Got to win this freaky, really oddly defined tournament.
Oh.
Yes, Reptile's supposed to be spying on Katana. That's his role in the movie. He's not actually supposed to be in the tournament or to fight anybody. His job is to watch Katana because Shang Tsung doesn't want Katana helping them cheat, or I don't know. All Shang Tsung does is cheat, so I don't know what he means. Wow, you took acid to the face really well.
Yeah, that's what I thought. What is this? Get this off here.
I don't have any flesh left.
Oh, my eyes are gone.
Obviously, she didn't come through here this way if there's all those cobwebs. Come on, people. Use your common sense.
How would she's like fresh off hair. You know, she's fresh off fucking hair and makeup.
My favorite thing about any sort of fantasy movie that has like sets like this is like thinking about like in the world who's lighting all these goddamn candles. Like, I know it's a movie, so I know there were people meticulously lighting candles for the scene. But to think about it in universe.
Here we go. Techno song, Bathroom White.
So they've been on the island for 20 minutes and already, like, you know, the bad guys are cheating. It's just like, just kill them here. Fuck the tournament.
I had quite a few remixes of some of these tracks.
This is the main one.
In the day.
Nice wall kick.
For the longest time, I thought it was Bathroom White instead of Test Your Might.
Bathroom Might!
That is really weird. Oh, I love that clothesline. That's kind of wrestling, isn't it? A clothesline. I love how Sonya is in no way impressed by him either. Like, at least in like the animated one, she's actually like finally impressed when she sees him fight. She's like, "Holy shit, Johnny Cage can actually fight!" Like, but she's like, "Okay, yeah." Apparently, the bullshit actor is one of the best martial artists in the world for real.
She's like, "Both of you drop your pants right now."
Yeah, Raiden's Sonya gives no fucks, man. Her pussy is fucking dry as a desert right now.
I like how Raiden decides to just mock them. Like, I feel like Raiden doesn't take any of this seriously. Like, he wants Earthrealm to win, but, you know, if they don't, no big deal kind of thing. He just seems to enjoy it all way too much, even though he knows the stakes. Oh, best catchphrase ever, Christopher Lambert. I'll never see Raiden without thinking. It's so funny seeing, like, Raiden as he's actually, like, normally portrayed, like, more of, like, a monk and a somber guy. Then you just think him going, I got lightning fingers.
Yeah.
All right, he's a thunder god. Get out of his way, thunder god. You guys are lucky. Even a stupid line like that works. Like it.
Yeah, you know, he had fun on the set, so.
Yeah, so once again, we're getting into the rules here. He's a former champion, so he can fight if he wants. Like, they go over all these rules, and yet the rules are constantly broken or shoved aside. It's really
right. Weird. Rules mean there are no fucking rules. Like, okay, we can attack you anywhere.
Yeah. Like, this is the tournament hasn't started. This is the night before. Which also begs the question, like, after that demonstration where the guy got frozen and shattered, was there a scene that's missing that, like, Shang Tsung's like, by the way, you all have accommodations, you all have rooms, and there's room service, and you dial 9 to get out on the phone?
There is a full bar.
Because here we are the next day. Presumably everybody's rested. Like, where is everybody sleeping?
There is a
bar
with
this is funny
roasted cashews.
So this seems like, okay, this is going to have rules. Yeah, exactly, right? There's a nice mint under your pillow. He says, let Mortal Kombat begin. So this must
be... King's like, can I get a wake-up call on the fight that you're making?
Yeah, so what is with Catman? Who came up with this guy? This is a guy that they literally do, like, lion or panther roaring effects for.
Liu Kang is ripped up, man. What do you think that diet's like? I mean, he is solid muscle.
Oh, yeah. Robin Shou is no joke, man.
I'm going to look like Robin Shou one
Unfortunately, he didn't
day,
get into bigger movies because he was talented as hell. This is a guy that went toe-for-toe with prime Donnie Yen.
I don't know about
you give me till 2024, I'm going to look like Robin Shou.
So first they put the sticks down, but then they attack, and then they pick them up. It's like, oh, Mortal Kombat with sticks, okay. But then after one stick gets broken, it's just like, okay, I got to keep it fair here.
Yeah, which is so weird in movies like this. It's never fair, right? It's always someone cheating to try to get ahead.
Just odd choices to make in a fight sometimes.
All right,
Shang Tsung looks so adorable with all those like peacock feathers behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could say like cartwheel kicks are bullshit, but I've seen people do it in MMA fights, haven't you? You've seen the cartwheel kick a few times.
Yeah.
See there, they just did a roaring sound effect.
Liu Kang's a big cat.
What's the other guy? He's Catman. This is what I want to see in an MMA fight. How come nobody ever does that one? That's a great kick. The whole double kick to the chest. It's enough for this guy. His like ribs are shattered and it's over. That's the other thing I don't get. Like, if it's Mortal Kombat, isn't this the part of the movie where Shang Tsung's like, you have to kill him? But he's like, he's knocked out pretty good. I'll just suck his soul out. Part of this again was because they had to be like careful about the censors because they were told they couldn't like show like human characters dying. But I'm like, he's gonna die if he gets his soul sucked out. But I guess it's not him being killed. I don't know. They have weird rules. They had to keep going back and forth and talking to the censors about what they were allowed to show and what they weren't. And then he turns all gray. Because I guess that's what happens when your soul's sucked out. You turn gray. There's no way to say that doesn't happen.
You know, I looked her up. I'm not very familiar with what she's done before.
Bridget Wilson?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's this and the other one she did at the same time, Billy Madison, where she sings, "Don't I Have a Nice Rack?"
I mean, obviously, very attractive lady, but you know, I'm just not familiar with anything she's done.
I wish this fight was longer. It's okay, but again, so far it seems like we're following a tournament format now. Here we go, an official fight. She's getting ready. It's like, here's your gift. You get to fight Kano, and Kano very much understands it's a fight to the death.
Does it hurt, baby?
Bridget Wilson was pretty young when this movie came out too, because she's not even 50, and I mean most of the people in this movie are in their 60s now. She's only 49. But I mean, she was like the hot daughter in Last Action Hero. I can say that, can't I? Probably not. She probably was a minor then.
Oh, okay.
That was her like first role.
Yeah, whatever. She's older than we are.
She's in the House on Haunted Hill remake.
Say it all.
That's about all I know. She's been retired for a long time. Like, she was still young when she retired.
Look at me chest hair, baby.
I miss his line. I love it. It's one of my favorite. I quote this movie endlessly. And his line I always do is, "Hello, baby. Did you miss me?
Does it make you randy?"
This is what Austin Powers was based
Study
on.
this.
Mike Myers watched this movie. It's like, yes.
I can work with
British
that.
secret agent. See, her fighting is not flashy.
Yeah.
Which again agrees to the fact that she didn't have time to do much training, so I'm fine with it. I do like Abrula's. He's good. Like, he just smacked it. Like, this kick in the ribs is great. Like, she even falls after giving him a really messy spinning hook kick there.
His finishing move is he just destroys the hymen.
There it is, kick to the ribs. I love her. Oh, I love her reaction too. Baby.
Oi.
Uh-oh. She's doing, speaking of Bond, she's doing the Xenia on a top move. Oh, nice shot of cleavage there.
A fucking
It's really quick.
Over here.
It's a nice
fucking
cleavage.
Wallaby.
Can you break somebody's neck from that position? I'm not sure, but
wow.
He seems to know that she can.
Gano's out, huh?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
fuck. All right.
And that's the last thing she gets to do, unfortunately. This is my favorite. Again, we just cut to him walking in the woods somewhere alone. Why is he there? What's going on? He's out for a stroll and Scorpion ambushes him. There's no context. There's no setup. We just jump to Johnny Cage off for a stroll. Shang Tsung's not there. There's no audience. Is this an official part of the tournament? Was he told to go there? Did he know Scorpion was like? There's so many unanswered questions. It doesn't really matter. But
and you don't need him.
You don't need him. This is the best fight in the movie for me. I love this movie.
I could spam those Johnny Cage moves like crazy, man. I was Raiden, I guess you say his name is the guy first.
Raiden.
And then I was Johnny Cage. Kano too.
Yeah.
I like Kano.
Chris Casamassa is Scorpion, and I'm surprised that he hasn't done that much. I mean, he's here and there because fuck is he good.
Good.
I love how he's going to do a cute little cartwheel back into frame, and I love the. That's one of my favorite things in any movie. The musical sting is as he does a nice little cartwheel. It's like, okay, you broke my thing, but now I'm going to take you to my hell dimension. There's another thing. If he's taking him into his weird hell dimension, how does Johnny get out? Like, Johnny kills him, but then
probably
still...
Page's Raiden. That's how.
I guess so. Now the fight can really begin. I don't know. Look, this looks a little bit like Event Horizon.
Get
one of those like visions of hell that you saw in Event Horizon. This is hell with scaffolding. Hell's getting some work done, so got some scaffolding up here. You're muted, Jay. But I fucking love this fight. This is my favorite fight. The brutality is great. Like these performers really did like kick the shit out of each other in this scene. It's filmed pretty good too for a Western movie. Like you see, like things like that, like it just sells the impact, right, which is something they're not so great at doing in a lot of the Western movies.
Yeah.
And even though this does some close-ups and frenetic stuff, it doesn't feel out of place because it's still, there's no stunt performer. That's how Scorpion works. Once you're down, I keep you down. Soccer kicks, baby. It's pride.
Oh, okay. Come on. Goes against physics there, Mr.
Yeah.
Scorpion.
Yeah, his extra kick after that flip kick, yeah. This is the only, this part's not too bad. He's like, time for some Jim Cotta.
Yeah.
Which, if you haven't seen that movie, that's a movie to see. That's a real movie.
We should do a commentary on that.
We should.
I love the guitar.
This is also not possible. Look at that. There's no way you can pull yourself up from that position. I don't care what upper body strength you have there. You just cannot. Yeah, get down here. So that's a new line for Ed Boon.
On that. Get out here. Get over here.
Suck my dick.
Yeah. Eat my ass.
I'm sure fans do get Ed Boon to say different stuff all the time. Or have.
I love
the
this
eyes.
part.
It's a nice effect.
Unnecessary flip. I like how Johnny just knows that the fight's over. He takes the mask off and his head it turns into a skull. He doesn't know what's coming, but he knows it can't be good. He's like, yeah, that's something bad. I'll get a shield. So he does attempt a fatality. That's the thing. You can't do a fatality before you win, Scorpion. This is also part of the rule that exists in most movies, which is bad guys are more flammable than normal people.
Wow.
Bad guys always catch fire easier. Now, in this case, it makes sense because the idea seems to be Scorpion is made of fire. If you cut him, he bursts into flames. Fair enough. Exploding head, not bad. So, I mean, that's pretty violent. He literally explodes. And has this nice shot with the autographed picture on fire. Greatest fan. That's cool. I don't care what anybody says. That holds up. That's cool.
Mm.
And now, like, a non-fight. And for some reason, like, how come almost no one's out here? How's the tournament working? Who's been eliminated? Who's left? This is Liu Kang's second official match. There's only a few people here, but Shang Tsung is here. It's like, I'm going to make you fight your girlfriend. How do you like that?
She can fight me any day. Oh, man.
Yeah. Let's practice some Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Baby.
Oh, no. You got my wiener in a chokehold.
And to their credit, they do like each other because they won't hit each other, right? He's like, okay, well, that's what I
put it to sleep.
I gotta beat her up. But then it's just like a bunch of holds. This is like, I'm okay with 90% of the stupid dialogue in this movie where I think it works. Hers doesn't. Hers is just so stupid.
Yeah, his choreography is not too great either.
They're not trying, right? It's just like they just keep putting each other in holds.
Yeah.
It's slow and clunky and
very slow, yeah.
Again, I get it. It does make sense within the story because neither wants to hurt the other. So they're both holding, like, they both are holding back. See, according to Shang Tsung, the element that brings life. It's like,
right here, baby.
You speak in riddles, you crazy broad. And he goes, Katana, that's enough. So that fight ends in a no contest because Shang Tsung is mad because she talked to him. Again, I don't really know what the rules here are, Shang Tsung. You're not allowed to talk to your opponent when you fight. How come he can't say, this is a fight, one of you has to kill the other? You think that would be a big dramatic turn. But maybe it's because she's the princess of Outworld still, technically. She's Shao Kahn's adopted daughter, right? Although, people watching this movie don't know that.
This is the best entrance. I fucking love this.
Sub-Zero?
Yeah, how he just waves them. Like, the guy walks by, he waves the stairs, and then you see him come down the stairs.
Sub-Zero wins.
What would this be considered as, cinematography?
You mean, well, setting up the shot, yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh, here it comes.
Okay, so I've got Liu Kang following somebody to walk down the stairs.
Yeah, and then he says, stand right here.
And he points, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah.
Love that.
I mean, it's very, it's cinematography, like the framing of the shot, right? You got him in the middle, and you've got the statues on either side, yeah. But of all the guys with, like, the least, it's probably this performer.
Oh, wow.
This is Francois Petit, who's in, like, nothing. Like, look up Francois Petit. This is all you can find. That he was Sub-Zero in the first movie, and he did this scene. Oh, the candelabra. Ah, great. Love those wall flips. Got a nice ramp here to do your gymnastics routine. It's funny. He does like that cool backflip and thing and handspring. And Liu Kang just goes into a Superman punch even though he's nowhere near him.
Yeah.
It's like, I got to do something.
That's what I was thinking, man. It's a lot of gymnastics in this.
Nice to see. I mean, it doesn't take away from the brutality of the fights. That's too short, too. I wish it went a little longer for Sub-Zero's like, this guy's good. I better just turn him into a popsicle. Unfortunately, he's gathering way too much energy here. He's like, I'm going to turn this into like a glacier. I think if Sub-Zero didn't overdo it here, he could have won. But he's like, I'm going to charge up for the biggest ice blast in history. I like how they bring it back too. It's, oh yeah, I know, it's so stupid. Water.
Oh wow!
I'll throw a bucket at him.
It's quite a stalactite we got there.
The bucket just disappears. But it's a weird death too. Like, can freezing Sub-Zero kill him? Why would freezing Sub-Zero kill him? But there you go.
All right, you guys ruined my childhood.
Come on, I love the movie. Is it time?
Is it time?
It's time, homie.
They should give this guy a hat that's really sharp that he can cut people with.
You know, that's what I was thinking the whole time. Where's Kung Lao? Even back then, Kevin Michael Richardson was the shit with those voices, man. Like, Kevin Michael Richardson's been doing the same thing for 30-some years, and he's good at it. Big, deep monster voice.
That's a great gig, man. If you got, like, the voice acting chops, like, those guys, like, hardly work and make, a decent living.
Well, the most prolific of them all is in this, just as weird sounds that Reptile makes, and that's Frank Welker. Fred from Scooby-Doo. The best part about Frank Welker is, like, he's mostly, like, big, like, if you have a movie where something goes, roars, like, that's Frank Welker. But his normal voice, just when he's not putting on a voice, that's what he used for Fred in Scooby-Doo. So when you hear, like, that's what Frank Welker sounds like. Even as an older guy, he still has kind of that high-pitched voice. It's really funny listening to Frank Welker just talk in his normal voice.
It smells like Mary Jane in here, fellas.
See, here they've got a ring and everything. Did Goro request these special conditions? These two guys are the funniest, because if you watch them, there's parts where they're screaming, yeah, and then they look at each other and go, yeah! I love these guys. I hope we didn't miss all of them. Where they're screaming, yeah, and then they just look at each other.
They look at each other.
And then scream. It's like,
I love hearing Goro's theme right here, and then when he hoists them over, and he puts his hand together like this, underneath.
Right, so that's like some personal friend of Johnny Cage, who I guess he knew back from back in the day. He's gonna die.
Oh yeah.
Flying kick actually knocked him back half a step.
Who can beat this fucking mutant, man? Come on.
Well, this is why Earthrealm has lost 9 tournaments in a row. Because no matter how good they were, Shang Tsung eventually was like, Goro! And Goro fucking killed everybody.
But you're 9 feet tall with 4 arms.
Outworld does not play fair. There's the other guys. This is pretty brutal, too. For a PG-13 death, this is pretty fucking brutal. Like, look at him. He's out on his feet. And he's not done yet.
Look him up.
Here comes the real finish him.
Oh, no.
I also like how they like to use the catchphrases from the game, even though they use them inappropriately. Because at one point during one of these, like, one of the earlier ones, Shang Tsung goes, flawless victory. But flawless victory is the same thing as a perfect in Street Fighter. It means you didn't get hit. And I'm like, that's not true, Shang Tsung. The guy took some hits. Spin that camera. Okay, that's a badly dubbed no, Sonya, but oh well. On my knees, I'm taller than all of you.
It's not a flawless victory.
Oh, this is where he says it. This is where he says it, isn't it? Yeah, flawless victory. See, it's not flawless. The guy got
hit quite a few times. Yeah.
Exactly. I don't think you care about the tournament, Shang Tsung. You just like sucking the souls. Oh, right through the eye. That's not that bad of an effect. In a movie full of terrible effects, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
I think this might be the best 90s soundtrack, in my opinion. I like Blade, I like The Matrix, but
I've got the vinyl around here somewhere. I used to spin this thing like crazy, dude.
Really?
Nice. DJs love this. It's great for big events. And
I was very, very popular. Yeah, just throw some of that shit in there. Finish him.
Awesome. First face your fears. And there's another part once we get to the end is really nonsensical with the end fight, but we'll get there when we get there. You are afraid you're a fake, so you'll rush into any fight. You see into my soul. So you'll fight, but you'll lose.
Well, Ben, you know Cole's a huge fan of Go, so
yeah, Go's a great strat. Great movie, great soundtrack. I mean, soundtracks, there's different ways to evaluate them because there's soundtracks with original music for the movie, and then there's soundtracks where, they put together basically a playlist and see what fits into the movie. Because, there's movies that have, songs I'm a fan of, but I don't like them on the soundtrack because I don't think they fit in the movie. So, there's different ways to do it. I really like the movie The Departed, right? And they used some good songs in that movie. And also, they used the Pink Floyd song Comfortably Numb. And they actually used it in the previews and everything. I always felt like it in no way fits when they use it. It just does not work for the scene, whatever. I like Pink Floyd. I like Comfortably Numb. I like that movie. But I don't think it's a good use of the song at all. So
Scorsese's very hit and miss with me with his rock and roll soundtracks. Yeah.
Because, I'm a big rock fan, too, but even I feel like it's forced a lot of the time, right?
Yeah. Well, it's like, I like this song, so I'm going to put it here, you know? As opposed
whether
to...
it fits or not, I
exactly.
like it. So, yeah, same for me. Sometimes it works really well. He does it pretty well in Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Good pep talk, Raiden.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, we don't get to sleep, so just meditate on the beach. Be ready for people to kill you in a few hours.
You can't sleep or eat, apparently.
Yeah. I forgot about his whiny brother. I know he's dying, but it still comes off as really whiny.
Yeah. Little bitch.
That's not part of the game, is it? Did Liu Kang ever have a brother to avenge? I don't think so. I think they just shoehorned that into the movie for some reason.
His brother was P.F. Chang.
This is good, too. Here's some unearned chemistry between these two.
I like that.
He's like, I'm going to die now. So I want you to know I have the hots for you because you're the most recent female put in front of me. He's like,
his brother was Dragon Roll.
He's like, I can't let Goro kill you because you're a hot blonde with nice tits.
Right. She is that.
Self-deluded. You forgot good looking. No, she's all pouty again.
$500 sunglasses, asshole.
See, apparently that was an ad-lib line. Apparently that was Lyndon Ashby. That was not in the script.
Nice.
It seems weird in a way. It's like, wouldn't he react to having sunglasses crashed? There's no way Johnny Cage wouldn't say anything. Johnny Cage always has something to say. So sometimes
he's always wearing sunglasses too, so it's kind of his thing. So.
Yeah. Everything's really slowed down to have some long conversations. First about why they'll lose, then why he has to protect Goro. Now he even gets to talk to Shang Tsung about it. It's like, Shang Tsung, I'm having some hard, deep feelings lately. I think I'm going to have to challenge old Goro. Shang Tsung's like, I don't know about that. Okay, then. I'll grant your request, you silly fool. He says,
Yeah,
but yeah, that's the other thing too. Like in a place doesn't like he sets all these other conditions. Like why would Johnny agree to that? Like I'm already setting myself up for suicide here against your champion Goro, and now you're saying you can only fight him if I blah 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 blah. Oh, I don't think so, says Lord of Thunder. Remember, the rules are quite clear. You know those rules that like we keep talking about and I keep ignoring and breaking at every turn? Follow those rules, Raiden. Raiden's like, you got us. Rules.
well, gotta follow the rules.
It's like, you're totally fucked now, Johnny. It is a weird thing. Like, he sees into, like, his heart and is like, you can't beat Shang Tsung. Okay. Does that mean I can beat Goro? I don't know. Maybe Liu Kang should fight Goro? No. Oh, the yelling guys are back. I think they do have at least one more time where they look at each other.
Man, it looks bad, but it's not terrible.
I mean, they know what they're working with. Like, see, they got a lot of shadow and stuff.
Yeah.
It looks bad.
Yeah, there they are again.
I mean, it looks bad in a way I feel is just super on brand for what it is, though. Mortal Kombat, you know? Mortal Kombat's over the top as hell, you know? There. Yeah.
They yell, and they look at each other and yell again.
Awesome frat boy energy off those guys.
We're sports fans.
Johnny's like, I will show you.
Like the same team.
This is what I think of your vanity eyewear, human. Oh yeah, actually he doesn't say it there. That's true. He says it later. Again, what kind of a venue is this? Goro's home turf seemed to be like a boxing ring or something.
Bam!
Now it's like, let's fight on the slopes of this mountain. What could go wrong there?
Do I have testicles? Potentially.
Let's find out. Ooh, he's got large testicles. I think it's nice to see. That is one of Johnny's signature moves.
Mm-hmm.
Nice of Raiden to apologize to that guy. He's like, okay, now I run. That's my plan. You imbecile! You didn't wear a cup?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it hurt.
Yeah! They yell at each other again.
Yeah. Goro's like, right, finish it. Yeah, I remember now. They're great. I mean, I don't know. Phil McHale has the right look and energy. I don't know if he can do anything physical. I've never seen him do anything physical.
Mm.
And I know you got stunt people and stuff too. Okay, that's not the best shot, but at least they did sell one thing. They're very high up. You know, for somebody so powerful, Goro, it seems like your cardio needs work. It's kind of huffing and puffing getting up there. You know how much that is in today money? So, see here, that's like, we have to, like, what kind of fall is that, Goro? That's bad. I guess he's still, like, paralyzed from having his nuts punched, I guess is the only thing. It's like, how did Goro fall so easily?
That's why you need those extra 2 digits on each hand.
Yeah. By the way, I know it means nothing to you as you fall to your death, but that's a callback to a line I said earlier in the movie, Goro. So it's extra important and impactful. He didn't even stick around to see how it ends, and he takes off with Sonya. Ah, she's a great screamer. Yeah, but you said that whole thing about accepting challenges. Change of venue. I call foul. Flag on the play. Red card. Other sports things. Unsportsmanlike conduct. I've never seen Deliver Us from Evil. That's interesting. Nah, she's screwed. I have nothing further to teach you, Liu Kang. You figured out some stuff about some really weird rules, and that's apparently that's the end of your journey. You're very wise now. Another unearned moment, but whatever. Oh yeah, Reptile's still skulking around. I mean, thank goodness they did add the fight. It would feel a little too abrupt if they just go to Outworld and immediately find them. So I'm glad the Reptile fight is in there. I can't follow, by the way. It's in the rules. I mean, this is dark. When you see Outworld in the 2021 movie, it's like daytime, so everything's like gray. But nothing happens in Outworld anyway. It's just they don't do any of the fighting there. Presumably in a sequel they would, but I don't know if they'll make a sequel. I don't know. I'd be on board with a sequel, even though I didn't like it, just to see some more stuff. But yeah, I was very disappointed in that movie. It had great moments, but they couldn't sustain the whole thing.
Yeah, I hope they make a new one.
I don't know. I didn't like the environments mostly. I didn't like seeing Goro fight in a barn. I didn't like seeing like Sonya and what's his name have a fight in like a trailer. You know, these are not Mortal Kombat areas. It's like, let's fight in a trailer. Smash you through some cheap furniture. And Mrs. line about being back in high school? I guess so. I can see through this cheap effect. I am the chosen one. This is weird, but a cool moment nonetheless. It's weird too. Like Reptile's trying to get away, so it's like Reptile doesn't want to transfer. Like I don't really know what any of it means, but it's cool.
Yeah, I think it's dope.
Reptile. I like how the sound comes through. It's like there's a narrator. Whoa, what the hell's going on? There's a narrator here. He knows everything that's happening.
Reptile.
This is a great fight. This is probably the most intense the soundtrack gets. This fight is bonkers. There is so much real contact.
Another dope-ass soundtrack.
Like, look at that spin and fall. That's not a stunt guy. That's Robin Shue doing that spinning fall. That's not normal. But again, he had that background, so they went with it. So at this point, he's fighting with, like, bruised or cracked ribs on one side, which I can't even imagine, because, like, I've had bruised ribs and you can barely fucking breathe. Some Muay Thai clinching there. Yeah, so these two are the two veterans of the Hong Kong industry. Well, maybe not veterans, but they both have some Hong Kong movies under their belt. Does it ever show? It's so frantic and brutal. And so many falls on hard floors for every scene. Pretty much every scene has like a super hard fall on a hard surface. Like I don't see it padding anywhere. And maybe you can put some padding on the ninja suits, but when you're somebody like Liu Kang, there's no padding to put anywhere. Trying the Sonya thing.
That's one thing you just don't understand unless you're there, you know? Like, these guys get the shit beat out of them. Like, probably, you know, scene after scene.
That really admires the dedication of these stunt performers and actors, including people that didn't have stunt backgrounds. They really went all out for it. It was a little awkward that he just sort of catches him. It's like, what kind of attack was that? He wasn't doing a kick. He just did like a jumping spin at you for no reason, and you easily caught him. But the rest of the fight's good. But I always thought that was kind of a weird moment. I'm just going to do like a triple axel towards you. Like a figure skater. Oh, look at that fall. Oh, shit. I like how when he starts really beating on him, like his face starts like morphing. It's really weird.
Oh.
There's that. There we go. Yeah. I don't know why they call that kick the bicycle kick, because a bicycle kick is a real thing. If you're gonna like may have like a fictional fantasy kick for your Mortal Kombat video game, like don't give it the name of something real. Like, I know what a bicycle kick is, and it's not that.
It's upside down, right? That's the upside down kick. And,
we see it in like soccer. It's not really a fighting
football.
You see it in soccer, where they can just like kick over their heads.
And then in martial arts, it's just like forward, like
kicks soccer on the chest, right?
I mean, the kick he's doing is physically impossible, right? It's not.
Soccer is fucking gay, so therefore the bicycle kick is Jackie Chan. I mean, whatever, Liu Kang.
You should see Shaolin soccer. It's pretty good.
No.
Just like
we got to do a Stephen Chow movie eventually, guys. Love Stephen Chow.
Gravity does not exist.
I mean, we could at least do Kung Fu Hustle. Fuck Kung Fu Hustle's awesome. Of course, you guys would never get to talk because there's like 50,000 references a minute in that movie, and I only know some of them. But like that movie homages like almost every like notable kung fu movie in existence. It's just never-ending references.
You know, I was not a fan when it came out, so I've never really given it a proper shot, honestly.
You find it too goofy?
I didn't like the slapstick comedy aspect of it at the time.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, the end fights just become like big sort of effects extravaganzas without too much realistic stuff. But most of the movie is good, real choreography before that. I mean, the comedy
people like it. So.
Like a lot of those Chinese movies, the humor's kind of hit and miss, but it's not bad.
They've got her hair all teased out here for some reason.
Yeah. They're like, we want to make her look like she's in like a barbarian princess or something, like on a comic book cover. Like, make her look like a Frank Frazetta painting.
Make her look like a hooer.
I mean, again, it's a small thing, but I really do like hearing the thing that, like, Johnny Cage is like, nice dress. Princess Leia.
Yeah.
Jabba the Hutt picked it out for me. Things like this are good, too. Like, no explanation as to, like, who these guys are exactly. They're Shang Tsung's cronies, I guess. Shang Tsung has a cult, maybe. Sure. He's a sorcerer. He's an ancient sorcerer that sucks souls. He can have a cult.
Yeah. That's all you need to know. You're good.
Yeah, I saw Dragon the Bruce Lee story back so early. Like, I wasn't even really into martial arts yet. I saw that like when it was new on video in '93. The main thing I remember about that was like I was my friend and I watched it, and I think we were more or less alone when we watched it. But like, I wouldn't say graphic sex scene, but there are sex scenes in it. And I was kind of worried that like one of his parents was going to come in. I can remember that. I was like, oh shit, they're going to be mad. We're watching this.
I saw that in the theater.
That's pretty cool. Because yeah, I only had like a very vague idea of who Bruce Lee even was when I was like 10.
Right.
Hey, cool.
I also like how he dressed her up in this to have the fight. It's like, we're going to fight now. You guys keep talking about this emperor. Where is he?
And then this one, too.
Unfortunately, this is all downhill. Like, this is the climax of the movie. It's not good, I have to say. As a big fan of this movie, I like the movie. The good stuff ends.
It's fucking amazing.
Really? I feel like the good stuff ends with the reptile fight. I don't like it.
The fight is great. Falling on spikes is amazing. Reuniting with his brother is awesome. And then
I like her.
I don't really like any of this. I mean, I don't hate it. It doesn't ruin the movie for me. I don't feel like it's a good climax. It's also very nonsensical. Because there's that whole thing. It's like, face your fear. Face yourself. It's like, what? What the fuck does any of this mean?
Oh, shit. Allow me to disrobe.
There we go. Fight me, you badass motherfucker.
Mortal Kombat with a K.
I think he says descendant of Kung Lao. Like 90% of the people watching this movie are like, huh? What? Does that mean something? They don't like. How easy would it have been to throw away that line? Be like, oh yeah, the last time Earthrealm won.
Is Kung Lao a NASCAR driver? I'll tell you what.
But they don't even throw that into the movie, so you kind of have to go in knowing impudent mortal.
Boogity,
Nobody
boogity,
can
boogity.
like sneer like him. He's got the best sneer I've ever seen this side of fucking Billy Idol.
I love the hand gestures that they do before the fight. They're so dope.
What's the Ryan, my friends always used to do? Like when we play the Mortal Kombat song, we do the choo-choo-choo, and it would be all hands moving, and because like for some reason it's just all hands. Going to do this very handsy thing. That's actually very respectful of Shang Tsung to do. I'm surprised they show that. Do you think Shang Tsung would be against that kind of display?
You mean just totally disrespectful?
Oh yeah, this is odd. Like, it's all swinging arms stuff. It's, I don't know.
Ugh.
I mean, I get it. Fiore. I always say his name wrong because it's two. He's got two last names. He's got a hyphenated last name. Kerry Hiroyuki Tagawa. I mean,
yeah, man, that's how I'm gonna look next year, man.
Fuck yeah.
Call me Orky Kang.
Ooh, Hackers, another great movie from '95.
I'm back, man. I'm just not going hard yet.
It's like, you've made me bleed my own
getting
blood.
Sore. What I usually do is go in there and just like hit it real hard one day out of nowhere. And I'm
you
just,
actually
like,
hit me. That makes me angry. You fool.
What, Jim?
How dare you fight back?
Yeah, I believe in you. You got it.
Well, I don't realize that I'm an old fuck now. I'm not like I was when I was 20. I just go in there and I just, I'll crush these squats right here. I'll be all right.
So now it's called.
You're not walking tomorrow, fatty.
There was test your might. Now there's face your enemy. So face your enemy means fight resurrected dead warriors that lost in the tournament. That's what face your enemy means.
Oh shit, we've seen him before. Oh, that guy's crazy as hell.
There's like a guy in full samurai garb too. I guess he's last. There he is. Oh.
They're all armed too.
Yeah. Like I said, there's rules go out the window. You have to fight like 6 guys. They all got weapons. Don't worry, they'll do that thing where they kind of wait.
Yeah. Well, hold on.
My turn.
Me now.
Okay. Dude, that's one of the things I have. Like, I think if Bruce Lee had lived longer, he would have gotten into movies with better choreography. Like, I don't mean to slander Bruce Lee's movies, but they kind of had this choreography where guys would just sort of attack him one at a time. And that's one of the things I always really appreciated about Jackie was good at like showing bad guys actually trying to use their numbers and getting hits in and stuff. Now, Jackie's not the first person to do that, but he's the most prominent person to do it.
The sacrilege, I know, but Jackie's a better action star than Bruce Lee ever was.
I mean, Bruce Lee didn't get a chance to really show everything he could do, which is unfortunate.
I mean, maybe the better martial artist out of the two, but I mean, Jackie's a better on-screen performer.
Yeah.
By far.
Oh, yeah. But again, he also has this massive body of work and everything that Bruce Lee never got to. I mean, Bruce Lee was 32. He had, at least 20 years of.
Wow, really? Only 32. Wow.
Here's the most incomprehensible part of the entire movie. Face your worst fear. Okay, so his worst fear is hearing his brother say, "You let me down, you let me die."
We about to kiss?
But how do you face your worst fears? He faces it by saying, it's not my fault. And for some reason, Shang Tsung's like, darn, you got me. Like, again, is he following some sort of rule book again? Because he's like, I can break you emotionally and psychologically, I guess is the thing. He's like, no, you can't. He's like, well, it was worth a shot. Hey, remember when our parents died? Nah, I don't remember that. That's like when his great co-star, of course that was the joke, right? His great co-star, Chris Farley, interviewed Paul McCartney. Hey, remember when you were in the Beatles?
That was so fucking cool.
That was
or
awesome.
whatever he said.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
He's like, that was awesome. The best last thing is like, hey, you know, at the end of that album, it's like, and in the end, the love you make is equal to, or love you take is equal to the love you make. Or like, it's like, yeah, I remember that. I was like, is that true?
Those are great.
Yeah. Great co-star. I mean, Robin Shue really liked Chris Farley. He's even in like the Chris Farley documentary, like saying how much he enjoyed working with him. I think I can understand why though, because Chris Farley was. I mean, say what you want about Beverly Hills Ninja, it's a pretty shitty movie, but it does show Chris Farley's like physics-defying athleticism.
Yeah,
he was an extremely good athlete for a big, overweight guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was especially like flexible.
He could do cartwheels and shit.
He could do real cartwheels, which is something I've struggled through with my life. I do them here and there. And he can kick high.
I would break both arms if I tried to do a cartwheel.
I mean, most likely you just tip over. I mean, I've failed at cartwheels enough to know that that's what happens. You tip over. You can't do. I was at a point in my life where I could do a handsless cartwheel much better than a normal cartwheel.
Oh, wow.
Getting my hands involved just fucked everything up. But just doing like a quick flip, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't done that in like 5 years. I'm kind of afraid to try again.
Got Pizzo in the chat. What's up, brother?
Yeah. I guess the big question a lot of people is like, he was supposed to be Shrek, right? Like, how different would Shrek movies be if it was Chris Farley as Shrek? Because you can see like some of those like tests on YouTube. You can see like him doing some voiceover stuff. It's hard now because we associate Shrek with like the weird Scottish thing that Mike Myers did.
It would be different for sure. Yeah. I don't know, man.
See, now he's just beating him by like saying like, you can't get inside my head. And we get to that part where it's just like, you can't psych me out. So now no matter what attack you do, you can't beat me.
You can't even cook a cup of noodles.
I am the chosen one. I mean, I get that you're mad, Shang Tsung, but maybe running straight into a sidekick is not good strategy. Leaving yourself completely open.
So is Liu Kang going to absorb his soul?
No, when he kills him, I guess it like frees all the souls.
Okay.
Like his death frees the souls to go to.
Oh, he blasted him right there at the end.
I love the intensity they bring to it. I mean, that's right. He does do his cool fireball blast thing. Again, there's no explanation for how he can do it, but it's Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
And then he lands on the spikes, which is the logo. Yeah. How could you not love that as an ending?
The very end,
meets his brother.
Most of that stuff going up to it, like their bizarre like repartee where they're going back and forth verbally is dumb. Where he summons like some dead guys to fight him, just feels like filler. And then like his weird conversation with him as his brother, where he's like, "You can't psych me out," and he's like, "Oh darn, you're right."
It's just like a lot of shit. Like, look, come on, it's happening. Don't pay attention. Don't ask questions.
It's basically like a horror movie. Same thing.
Fair enough. I mean, there's plenty of horror. There's plenty of horror elements in Mortal Kombat there. Because there's the souls are free, and he's like, "Good job, Liu. Yeah. I'm gonna go to heaven now."
Lots of souls, okay, guys.
Like Buddhist heaven, maybe, I don't know.
And they play Orbital, High Clone, On and On, which is the same Hackers song.
1995, yo, a year.
I think this was in 4 movies.
Zero cool.
Yeah, what's the other one? It's Zero Cool. Fuck, I can't remember anything anymore.
Butt Pirate.
Something Burn.
Oh yeah.
Dick Itch.
Yeah, she's Something Burn, isn't she?
Yeah. You're right. I can't remember what it is though.
Fuck. Is it just
Acid Burn.
Is it?
Acid Burn.
Okay, I guess you're right.
That's what Ben said. Yeah.
Thank you, Ben.
Mess with the
That is cool.
Like
that is cool.
Let's go home.
And I guess we'll take Katana with us. I don't know. Isn't Katana still technically like? They probably address the Katana stuff in the next movie, but I've purged most of that from my brain.
She can come along. Come on.
She's there. Well, I mean, this is a great ending because they're happy for like 5 whole seconds. You weak, pathetic fools! Your souls are mine. Here we go. I mean, it's a great ending. So you guys,
I'll show Katana around. Okay, guys, you can go take a break.
Yeah, she hasn't been here for 10,000 years. I like how she kept her cool leather clothes too.
Of course.
I gotta tell you something. You guys did great. Oh, okay. Oh crap! There's Shao Kahn. Although we don't need.
Wait, we gotta.
The Emperor. His name escapes me because I don't know it yet. Because I don't think it was officially revealed.
The game hasn't come out yet.
Exactly. He looks just right though.
See, Paul Anderson before the other.
There's Frank Welker basically doing the Dr. Claw voice, right? So that's a great idea. It's like, we don't think so.
Hey, it's about time we did this movie, man. It was
the song that this leads into is one of the worst things I've ever heard, I have to say. It has like one of the worst singers I've ever heard. We had to let this keep going till we get to it. It's not this song. It comes after this.
I already ended it. The whole soundtrack is good. Which song is it?
I don't know. We'll let it go when it comes. Crank that shit now. Flag us, YouTube. Copyright infringement through indirect television noise.
Talissa Soto.
Yeah. Bond girl, Talissa Soto.
I'm a fan.
Robert Goddard, rest in peace. And Christopher Lambert, the king of B-movie crap.
George Clinton did the music.
Yeah.
Oh shit, the P-Funk Armadillo.
Mr. Funkmaster himself Funkmaster really embraced the 90s, didn't he? You don't hear any of that 70s shit. He's like, this is the new shit.
Jay, you gave this movie 2 stars.
Oh, come on. 2 stars?
That's being nice.
Man, I love this movie. The fights themselves are good enough. Even without the
How
cheese.
could it not even get
I never told you I liked it.
I know, but you gotta respect those fights. I get that the story's cheesy and all that, but I mean, if you don't like the story and stuff, I mean, I figure you just don't like Mortal Kombat the game either.
Yeah.
I don't know. The new one just feels so flat and lifeless to me. It doesn't have any personality. Like I said, I really do like how they do the 2 characters, Scorpion and Sub-Zero, but that can't save the whole movie for me. There's too much other stuff that falls flat and just isn't memorable to me. Like, I don't remember pretty much any of those fights that weren't Scorpion and Sub-Zero. The rest was just all, So one of them was like flying around, and I don't know. There's too much weird effects and stuff. Like in this, there was some good physical hand-to-hand shit. The other movie felt like it relied a lot on people's powers.
Yeah.
I was like, I see enough power stuff when I watch like the Marvel movies. Here, I just want to see some fights.
I mean, it's not like fight choreography. It's just like CGI and shit like that.
Yeah, and that's kind of lame.
Yeah.
I still hope they make a sequel to it anyway, just so see some more stuff. But for me, this is the stuff. And I know a lot of it's tied up with the age I was when the movie came out and everything and my love for the 90s. But still, I feel like this movie really captures the spirit of the game. This song.
So
this song is such garbage, and I want to kill this guy. He's like one of the worst singers I've ever heard. I love these really bad lyrics too.
Oh, that's not a good
Expect
song.
me to put up a fight.
So this was
I know
95,
song
right?
is.
Yeah, I'm sick and tired of all your lies.
Were you guys into Mortal Kombat when this came out, like the game?
Yeah.
I was slightly. Like I said, just like now, I still like Street Fighter better. But I recognized right away that this was a much better movie than the Street Fighter movie, which I'd suffered through.
The first one, I used to play Doom on my brother's PC and Mortal Kombat 1, which came out in 93, 4.
3.
Yeah. And I would do the dishes and then get to play on his computer. That's all I would do is play Mortal Kombat.
I mean, the first time I ever played Mortal Kombat, I think it was on Game Gear. I don't think it was on home console. I mean, eventually, yeah, pretty much everybody had it on either Genesis or Super Nintendo, so I played both.
Yeah, and then the arcade too.
And on those, I played 2. I actually played 2 more than I played 1 because 2 just blew up. 2 was the height of the success. So.
2 and 3. 3 was big too, man. It was
Mortal Kombat trilogy.
Added all the
I had
more characters.
When I got my PlayStation, it came with a demo disc with a bunch of games on it, like parts of games, and so I played Mortal. It was the update. It was Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. And you couldn't play all of it. You could play some of it. I remember. This song is so terrible. Oh man, it's bad. I want to kill that guy.
Fortunately, I can't hear
it. It's the sound of shit. Also, like, not only can he not sing, but it's like the vocals don't even match the music, which is because the music doesn't really have any tune to it. So it's just a bunch of like techno shit with a guy singing like a completely unrelated song in a really off-key manner with really stupid lyrics. But there, it's over. Now we're on to more Mortal Kombat stuff. So I'm fine with this part. But yeah, I love the movie. Like I said, it's too bad about Robin Shou, who's such a great martial artist. You got to check out the Tiger Cage movies, and the second one's probably the best one because you get Robin Shou versus Donnie Yen. Oh yeah,
Donnie Yen's a badass.
Yeah, he's got a pretty cool new movie coming out that he might have directed, but it's like pretty big budget too.
God, what is he, like 70 now?
I think he's in his late 50s.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
He might be 60.
You know, like some of those guys are like, you think they're so young because they look young still.
Oh, I know.
You know?
I mean, the first time I saw him in a full movie, it was 2007's Flashpoint. He's like in his late 40s in that. He's incredible. We'll do a Donnie Yen. Movie. Oh, it's an incredible movie. Donnie Yen is like, I'm going to show off some MMA stuff. It's basically the premise of that movie. It's so good, though. But yeah, I've been collecting various Hong Kong movies and stuff, like UK releases and things, but still hasn't been much Donnie Yen stuff coming. So I'm hoping there's some Donnie Yen releases. Although, I mean, he's in the third in the line of duty, which not coming, so that'll be cool.
Mortal Kombat.
I gotta give it credit. Like, we're getting towards the end here, and it's only getting more intense. Like most, that's not how usually the music works in the end credits of a movie. It's like it's even crazier. We're just ramping it up for all the people that are still in the theater. Like, who the hell is still in the theater at this point?
I remember I went to the midnight release of Mortal Kombat 9, and that's what I yelled at GameStop. I was like, Mortal Kombat!
Yeah, Robin Shou himself was the fight choreographer, as it finally says, way the hell down here.
So 9, which number are they on now?
11 was right the last one. 9 wasn't a sequel though. 9 was like a remix of the plots of the first 3 games. It's like a slightly different telling. It's pretty cool. I really like 9. Just picture the plots of the first 3, but like shaken up so different things happen. Like, for one thing, you know how like Smoke, sometime between 2 and 3, Smoke becomes a cyborg? That gets changed, so it doesn't happen to him, and it happens to Sub-Zero instead. There's other changes too, though. I love this stuff where they just throw a bunch of the lines in the movie into it.
Smoke's whole existence is being a fucking cyborg. How are they fucking bypassing that?
Basically,
this whole deal.
The Lin Kuei try to get him, they miss him, and wind up with Sub-Zero is more or less what it is. That was a big thing in the techno realm. It's just like take something and then put like lines of dialogue in it. This goes on for a while.
Do you like steampunk? Put on this mask.
Love some steampunk. There's not enough steampunk movies out there. Lots of games, lots of books, but not too many movies. What
not too many good movies.
Song. Oh, there's a Stabbing Westward song. That's pretty cool. Love Stabbing Westward.
Oh, me too.
Fear Factory. Two Stabbing Westward songs. But what was that shit song? I don't know what it was. I think it says, I am the chosen one. All right. They're thanking Ed Boon. Okay, I was going to say, where's John Tobias? Oh, there he is. John Tobias, he like walked away years ago, didn't he? He's not in any way involved with the series anymore, is he?
I have no idea.
I think it's just Ed Boon. It's kind of like that whole snake and insect action was monitored by the American Humane Association. Whew, thank God no insects were harmed. When Liu Kang stomps on all those maggots, I got really worried. And I finally come to the end.
They're not insects yet. Okay.
No. Yes, it is. Yeah, talk about ending on a high note. Oh, you get the flawless. I mean, in '95, that was not a thing. To like carry that intensity to the very end of the credits, that was not something that happened back then. But they're like, yeah, put it all in. So that's pretty
Fuck
cool.
yeah.
So I'm glad to finally watch that. Disappointed Jay can't love it the way I do, but gotta respect
Jay gave
those
it a
fights.
4 out of 10. Jay, I can't believe you.
Ouch. That makes it like
what are you looking at?
not just average, but below average. Below
it's
average.
5, isn't it?
Ouch.
No, dude, that's a 4.
2 out of
Can't
5,
believe
4 out
it,
of
man.
10. They amount to the
I'd
same
agree
thing.
with that.
Or Mortal Kombat.
Re-rated.
I don't give
now,
stuff below
goddamn it.
2.5, or if it hurts. Yeah. To go below 2.5, it has to actually bother me or upset me in some way.
I like Katana. I give her a 5.
Yeah. Put that in your review. 5 out of 5. Like Katana.
Like, you don't think the casting was good?
Sure.
Cool. What would you give it out of 5, including half stars?
3.5.
5 out of 5.
Wow.
Yeah, but you 5 out of 5 fucking everything.
I know, dude.
I don't know how you can judge anything.
1 out of 5, 5 out of 5.
There's nowhere else to go, you realize. So, like, if you think this is 5 out of 5, like what's The Godfather? Well, it's also 5 out of 5. Oh, okay.
Better than The Godfather, easily.
6.5.
Yeah. Godfather would be 4.5 out of 5.
Oh, so Godfather doesn't quite measure up to this. Okay.
Nope.
Well, see, that's the thing. I enjoy this more than The Godfather. So, like, sometimes I rate things by my enjoyment, and sometimes I rate things by, like, how good I actually think it is. It's hard.
I do it on Letterboxd. I do it by my enjoyment and how much I like the film. And then if I'm doing it on IMDb, it's clearly like being a nerdy piece of shit who thinks he's a snob of film. You know, but I never do the 1-star, 10-star thing like you say.
I'll snob it up, but there's movies like this that I just enjoy too much. Yeah. Never get tired of that movie. And I
normally just do like what I think, not like my enjoyment level. You know, like just my overall rating. But sometimes, like Letterboxd, I do a lot of what I enjoy. You know,
I enjoy the hell out of this movie, which carries it over 3, because 3 is just like, thought it was pretty good. So I have to put it more than a 3. So 3.5 is, there's a lot of stuff.
3.5.
I mean, I give more 3s and 3.5s than probably any other rating.
3, yeah.
3 and 3.5, because 3 means, better than average. I found something good about it. 2.5 should mean average. So that's your bar.
Yeah, for me it does, if you know what I'm talking about.
So I mean, if it's below 2.5, it must mean I thought there was something really quite bad or shitty about it. Like, I wouldn't even give. I don't like the new Mortal Kombat, but I give it like 2.5 because it's at least average.
Sure.
Like, I don't hate it. There's things that I think suck. It had some good things, but they couldn't save it for me. Like I said, Sub-Zero Scorpion are both really great, but unfortunately they're dragged down by other stuff. But yeah, no, I never get tired of this movie. I quote it endlessly. I've seen it many times, and I mean, a lot of the stuff is cheesy and things like that, but I think it fits, and like the fight choreography is really good and holds up and fits for a movie that wasn't rated R. It's still some pretty brutal fights. You really feel those impacts and those falls. I mean, it's unfortunate. The movie could have been better if, they had cast Brigitte, so what's her name, Wilson from the start, because then she could have gotten some more training in, and maybe they could have given her a bigger role and expanded her fights or an extra scene. I think that would have helped it. The effects, of course, aren't good, but it's 95, so you don't really hold that against it. It's part of its charm in a way. But I'm very glad we finally got to do it.
It's about time. What, about 5 years in the works now?
It feels like
Yeah.
it. Well, next time the three of us do something, it'll be sooner.
It'll be The Godfather 1 and 2
Together.
Yep.
Okay.
No intermission.
Fuck it. Let's do the whole trilogy. Be a whole day thing.
I've never actually seen the third one.
I don't think I've seen the third one in its entirety either. I think I've just seen scenes of 3 randomly on TV. There was a time in the 90s where 3 seemed to be on TV a lot.
When we used to do the Sausage Factory, I was watching the essentials of horror and like the essentials of like any big like IMDb top 250 movie or like any movie that was well known and recommended. And I would always ask people like you guys or like James or Piz, and I would say like, what movie should I watch? And they're just like, yeah, watch Godfather 1 and 2. Don't even bother with 3.
It took forever to get you to watch Blade Runner, but I knew you'd like it.
Yep. I didn't know why Rutger Hauer died at the end, but still.
Yeah, I was like, no, he dies there. First, like, what? He dies?
Turns into a unicorn.
I was like, that's the best. That's my favorite death scene. I think that's the best death scene in cinema. See, that's one where I don't just think favorite. Like, I honestly think if there's a better death scene in a movie, tell me what is the better death scene than Roy Batty's death scene? There, what is more moving? What is more impactful? What is more artistic and expressive? Like, I don't have it. I can't think of any.
It's the best part about being a film collector. Like now, even with streaming, is like DVDs are so fucking cheap with 4K Blu-rays and with regular Blu-rays. Like I remember when I bought Blade Runner, it was like $4, $5. It was like really cheap.
I mean, I can name some death scenes that are good because they're insane. Like Orc and I, actually last time Orc and I did something, we did Broken Arrow. And that's a pretty crazy death for, what's his name there? John Travolta. John Travolta's death is pretty insane. He gets like run through with like a nuke on a train and explodes as the train goes. And then like, I don't know if you can get a crazier death than Mickey Rourke's death in Double Team, where he like explodes in an arena with a tiger charging at him. While, not making it up, Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dennis Rodman escape the blast by hiding behind a Coke machine. I don't know if you can top that first year's spectacle as far as death goes.
I've seen that recently, and I don't even remember that.
You don't remember? Like, that's the only thing you can remember about the movie. That insane climax. They're in like an empty coliseum or something. There's landmines. There's a live tiger running around. And in the end, Mickey Rourke just accepts that he's going to explode as a tiger leaps at him. And they get behind a Coke machine. That's what you remember about that shitty movie. It's a stupid movie, but that's an insane death. So, yeah. So I can remember death scenes for the spectacle. But I mean, as far as like a good quality, like, connecting to the story, emotional art, I can't think of anything that beats Blade Runner. I just can't. I don't know. There's lots of cool emotional death scenes. Sean Bean's done a bunch of them.
Bean. Bean.
That's an old callback, but yeah.
Ben, I can't believe some of the movie, like all the stuff you've seen, and how you haven't seen Godfather or Blade Runner. And what was
you should watch Blade Runner, for God's sake. I'm not into mafia movies either, and my big unpopular opinion that Jay is sick of me saying is like, I'm not saying it's better, but I prefer Once Upon a Time in America to Godfather. Not saying it's better, I just like it more. And we did that in our show. I love that movie.
Yeah, that's fair, Ben.
That's like my favorite.
Tubi.
Ben watches like 14 movies a day.
Yeah, so
and they're all on Tubi.
I mean, Tubi has helped me with some of these martial arts movies. Unfortunately, some of them, Tubi doesn't always have subtitles. Sometimes it's just like, here you go. Yeah. It's in Japanese. Have fun. I'm like, what? Wait a second. Why did you tease me with this movie? Thanks a lot, Tubi. Tubi's like, you want the Street Fighter series? Here it is. Are you fluent in Japanese? I hope so.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. But I found some really cool Hong Kong ones on there. Like The Inspector Wears Skirts. Like, that's not a movie I expected to find. That's on Tubi. That's fucking awesome. It's basically like, what if you turned a Hong Kong action movie into Police Academy and the main characters were women? Okay. I'm on board. It even has a big musical number in the middle. It's something. Like, the way it opens, it seems like, oh, here we go. Like, standard Hong Kong action. Like, the opening, like, 10 minutes or whatever. Cynthia Rothrock's in there. Sybil Hu. They fight a bunch of terrorists. And then it's like, now we're going to take, like, an hour-long detour into women at the police academy with a bunch of awkward humor. And then we'll end with some more action. Like, there's a lot of movies like that. They're like, the action is, like, at the beginning and the end, but the middle is, like, all comedy, and it's really awkward and weird. But Sybil Hu's so gorgeous, I don't care. She's definitely one of the beauties of back. Somewhat underrated as a martial artist. Like, she wasn't, like, a big-time martial artist like Moon Lee or somebody, or Cynthia Khan, but she could hold her own. But it was just a tease. Like, Cynthia Rothrock's, like, at the beginning, and then, like, again, really briefly at the end. It's like, oh, she's not really in here. You can watch a lot of Cynthia Rothrock's American movies on Tubi, but I would not recommend that. They all look like they were shot on some, like, I don't know, piece of shit 90s camera.
A lot of bad ones, yeah.
Yeah. Because it's funny, too, because, like, when you get into, like, people that are hardcore action fans, it's amazing, like, what they'll accept in a movie if they think the action's good. So, like, if you're on certain sites, it's like, this is still a pretty good watch. I'm like, okay, I'm game. I'm like 15 minutes in. I'm like, oh, no. It's like, I get it. Cynthia Rothrock is a good action star, but her American output is so cheap and bad. But that's okay. Yeah. She did enough good Hong Kong stuff.
Well, that's where the money is, right? The American market.
Yeah. I mean, no money went into those movies. Maybe they made some money on video in the 90s, I hope. I don't know. Because, I mean, no money went into them. They all had crap budgets, and you could tell. But yeah, there were a couple that I tried on Tubi just because I had read, like, some somewhat positive reviews. And I'm like, oh, these are crazy action junkie people that, like, they'll accept any crap if they think there's some good action. I mean, I have to have standards somewhere. You know, it doesn't have to be a brilliant plot or acting, but, it can't look like it was just, like, shot in a back lot with, like, a bunch of, I don't know, improv school rejects. And that's what some of her American movies look like. But I do kind of want to see, there's one where I think she or somebody has, like, psychic powers, which makes me want to see it just because that sounds so stupid. Like, maybe I'll watch that. But I don't think that's actually on Tubi right now. So yeah, Tubi does have the hidden gems here and there, but it's hard to find. I mean, that's how I rediscovered a movie I'd mostly forgotten about for years that I need you to watch, Jay. You heard me talk about the Japanese film All About Lily Choo Choo.
Mm-hmm.
Holy fuck, is that movie devastating. It's like you watch, like, a movie like, I don't know, like Bully or Kids or something. You're like, oh, this is pretty bleak. It's like, it's got nothing on Lily Choo Choo, kind of. Like, these are the lives these kids are leading? Oh, I'm just going to blow my head off. It's awesome, though. It's really awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, Tubi has a crazy catalog, so it's all kinds of good stuff over there.
So, yeah, I've only discovered that over the past few months. I had Tubi years ago and never bothered with it and, like, deleted it or something. But, like, a few months ago, I was like, I should get Tubi again. And I looked around and found some really good stuff, so it's good. And what's weird, too, is, like, the way they do ads. Because I've watched entire movies without ads on Tubi. And then I'll watch a movie, and it'll be, like, an ad every 10 minutes. So I don't really understand how they space out ads or how that works. But
I think it fucks up sometimes. So you may be, like, on a good night where you get no ads. It's kind of what I've seen.
See, I mean, Mila Jovovich, I mean, is she? I don't know if she's the best female star. And I mean, you just mean, like, now or whatever. Because, I mean, again, if we're just going to go by actual body of work, It's definitely one of the ones from the Hong Kong scene. I would say. I mean, fuck. She went. I mean, if you want to go that route, it's probably Michelle Yeoh. If you want overall body of work, and it was funny too because she made the transition to like really great serious dramatic actor too, and not just serious dramatic actor in Chinese, but in English, which is just bonkers. Like her career. I mean, I think people know who Michelle Yeoh is now, but don't think they have any understanding of where she came from or how she started.
Oh yeah.
She wasn't even an actor. She was a fucking ballerina. She was a ballerina studying at the School of Ballet in London. And then she has like a weird back injury and she can't continue her career. Unknown to her, back in like Singapore, her mother enters her in some sort of beauty pageant because she's like, I think she still needs to be famous. She wins that without even trying. Does a commercial with Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan's so impressed. He's like, you should be in some movies. And then she's like, well, she's like, I don't know how to fight. She's like, well, you're a ballerina, which meant she's already an amazing athlete. Yeah. So then her first few movies don't have much acting. They're all action. And then eventually she gets better and better at acting. And now she's like a fucking legend. But I mean, yeah, it's hard to argue against her as far as like body of work. If you want to talk about like, yeah. I mean, Super Cop alone is bonkers how good that is. Like, I hadn't seen it in quite a few years before I got it back in September. It's probably even better than I remember. It's that good. And she almost steals the show. But, I mean, Jovovich's action, it's not my kind of action, right? It's the kind of video game-like action, really, like they do in the Resident Evil movies. Like, I don't know. What's funny is like if you look up like those lists where they talk about like actors that have like killed the most on screen, she's like number 2. But I don't know if that's really fair because like most of her kills are zombies. Like, does that count? Do zombie kills count? Like, she does kill a lot of humans in the Resident Evil movies too, because she kills like a lot of like Umbrella operatives and stuff like that. She does. But I'd still say most of her kills are like undead. By the way, number 1 is Jimmy Wang Yu. It's not even close. Like, it's funny if you really look into the numbers. Like somebody like Stallone or Schwarzenegger, they're so fucking low. You can't believe it. Like, I don't even know if they cracked the top 10. But Jimmy Wang Yu, it's like over 3,000. That's so impressive too, because like most of Jimmy Wang Yu's movies, he's not shooting people. So he's racking up his body count with his bare hands. So that's pretty amazing. I mean, also it comes from being in so many goddamn movies over so many years, but still. He's in movies like One-Armed Swordsman where he's just like, oh yeah, 66 kills, easy. Maybe more. But yeah, I mean, I feel like we're really lacking current female action stars, and there's not really any good reason for that. I mean, we're at a time where doors are more open than ever for women and things like that. So it just feels like whenever a woman does an action movie, she doesn't stick with it. Like, she might do one here or there, but maybe they don't want that. Maybe they don't want to be typecast. I don't know. Because I remember years ago reading an interview with, what's her name? Q. What's her name? Your last name? Her name is literally Q. She's in the 4th Die Hard. Remember, she fights McClane, and McClane like kills her with an SUV.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Isn't her name something? Q?
I'm not sure.
It's something Q. But anyway, I remember reading a thing with her like years ago, and she said, of course, part of it was like she's at least half Asian. I don't know if she's full, but she said, I worry about being typecast as like the martial arts Asian girl. So she had various action roles that she'd actually turned down. It seems kind of unfortunate, but Maggie Q. Her name's Maggie Q, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
I want to say Maggie. But anyway, so I mean, there she kind of made a choice. Like, she could have maybe done more action roles, but she felt like she didn't want to be typecast. So I don't know. Jennifer Lawrence. Oh my God.
Oh shit.
Anyway, I guess we can get off here. I don't want to be up all night, but I'll wait for Jay to return. Can't sign off without him. But it's pretty cool that so many people showed up, because this is my channel.
Not for long.
I know it's not that interesting when I do like solo commentaries. Obviously, I much prefer having you guys to talk to, but sometimes I just kind of do them on spur of the moment, and I don't have time to tell anybody. So that's why sometimes I do solo ones, because I feel like just doing something. I feel bad that I had to get rid of the License to Kill one, because it would have been decent, but my connection was all fucked up, and when I looked at it later, it just looked like crap. I was like, I hate this, so I deleted it. But it's too bad, because License to Kill is a good one, and it was sort of a follow-up, because I had done, God knows how long ago, I had done the other Timothy Dalton, my personal favorite Bond film, Living Daylights. But anyway, we can sign off here. So thanks to everybody that showed up. It was a good time. Hopefully the next time Jay, Orc, and I do one together, it won't take too long to get together, because this one took forever. So hopefully getting this one out of the way.
It takes 6 months.
I mean, more than that, probably.
More than that, for sure. It's been years, man.
We at least spoke about it. As far as hard plans go,
we've been trying to do Mortal Kombat the commentary since 1995.
It feels like that. I think it's been like about 3 years, I'd say. Something like that, I would say. But anyway, the next one will come a lot sooner, whatever the hell's it on. Something fun. Maybe something Jay likes more so he can be more passionate.
You like the guys yelling at each other?
I touched the laser pointer. She knows what it is.
Oh, no.
Like, she knows that this makes the laser.
Yeah.
We can't do that right now. We can do it
later.
later.
Do that. Do that for me right now.
Yeah. I'm glad she likes it, though, because when I bought it, I always thought, how good is this as a toy for a cat? Like, is it just teasing them? Like, they can't actually catch it. Like, is it just going to frustrate them? But she doesn't mind. She'll chase it all over the place. So.
Mm-hmm.
And she knows what this does. She gets excited, so. Okay. Yeah. You want to come on camera? It's kind of funny. Like, she bounces around so much, but compared to Wednesday, she seems kind of camera shy. Hilarious.
Do it.
But it's funny because Wednesday would ignore me so much, but often when I get in front of the camera, Wednesday would decide then she had to get in my face and get on. She hasn't really done that. She's mostly sat over there and been very good.
Dude, I would show my pussy, but she would scratch the shit out of me.
I'm very impressed with this one. This is my first cat with front claws. Wednesday didn't have front claws, which is good because she would have been a goddamn lethal weapon with them. But she's very good at holding them in. It's not like she hasn't clawed here and there, but she has a much more even temperament than Wednesday.
My cat's fat and she's evil, man. Just like me.
This one should be fat considering her crazy appetite, but she's a little thing. Anyway, dragging out, talking about my child again. So thank you again, and we'll see you all next time on my channel, Work's channel, Jay's channel, other channels, and things like that. But I like to keep busy, so even if I do a solo thing, I'll have something coming around probably within the next week at least. So check that out. Hopefully it'll go well. Play us out, Orc. To test your mind.
Mortal Kombat.